Okay. Alright. So, this is going to have to be a little bit different for a change. Um, as you guys know, I uploaded a video earlier today, or early yesterday. Um, about an 8 hour video. Then I went back to bed around 6 a.m. And I had to go to bed because yesterday was my birthday, and I had to be up for my birthday. Okay, so yeah, I had a lot of stuff. Sorry for getting on here so. Um, Sorry for getting on here so late. I guess you could say, or early technically. Um, and stuff. Um, we got a lot to talk about. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. I was very busy yesterday. I was busy early before I got on here. And I came to it because I unfortunately had my birthday, and then we had a massive storm here, and then internet went out. Had some issues. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get this uploaded until that gets fixed. I don't know. Hopefully that will get fixed in the next couple of hours, but I don't know what's gonna happen there. I very well might not be here today. Depends. I might be out of town. I'm not sure. But to let you guys know, depending on what happens with everything. And yes, I got the monitor. It's really nice. It's really nice. It's a 240 hertz HDR HDMI 2.1 G-Sync 1 millisecond monitor. It's a very nice monitor, and everything. It's in Ultra Gear. It's an LG Ultra Gear. This is supposed to be a really good monitor. I did a lot of research on this before I decided to get it or pick it out for stuff. It's a really good monitor. I wanted to do a video on showing it off to you guys and doing an unboxing, and well, I technically opened it before I could do the unboxing, but I wanted to show it to you guys and do it for a video, but the internet's out at the moment and I can't do it at the moment, so I don't know what's going on with all that. But when it gets fixed or I have a chance to do it, I'm gonna get around to doing it for you guys, and show it to you for the channel, and everything. I also it was a pretty good birthday, what I'm saying? Because we had a storm and everything, we couldn't really do anything with the network or watch TV, so we ended up watching Star Wars Episode 3: Revenge of the Sith, and it's one of my favorite movies of all time because I think it holds up really well to this day. It's very relevant. I can relate a lot to Anakin Skywalker's character. I just love that movie. I really do. Anyway, and stuff, and we really didn't do a lot. We had a pretty big storm here, and it was raining, storming. It was raining. It was thunder and lightning and stuff, and we had a little bit of a thing there for a while, bro. I do believe that we are that close to the rapture, and it's here. So I would advise people to get themselves ready, because I think we're about to get out of here. Regardless, and everything, we have a lot to talk about. We do. We have a lot to talk about. And I guess I would have gone back to bed technically because I don't really have network right now, but we got a lot of stuff to talk about that was on my mind I wanted to discuss. And everything. And I'm gonna try to do a recording of me playing Assassin's Creed Shadows or something else, testing out this new monitor and the higher hertz, the higher frames, and see how it compares to my other monitors. I had a 1080p. 144 hertz, and I had a 4K 60 hertz 5 millisecond monitor. So if you guys should know, everything. And I've been wanting a 240 hertz HDR monitor for a long time. The rest of it is just kind of extra, but it comes with VRR support and HDMI 2.1, which I mainly got that to take advantage of PS5 stuff. I wanted to be able to use VRR with PS5. for games in the future if I'm able to do that, depending on what happens this year. Depending on what happens this year with everything going on, 'cause we got a lot of stuff happening, man. We got a lot of stuff happening. And everything. And stuff, but I was gonna get on here and do a video earlier, but the storm kind of kept me from getting on here and recording. It delayed me hooking this monitor up and then getting everything ready, and then me having all this stuff, ready to go for recording, and everything, with everything, and stuff. And I got tickets. I got tickets to go to the Braves Yankees game in July. Also, it's pretty cool, man. Yeah, pretty cool. So just kind of so busy with my birthday that I really didn't get a chance to do much, but I had a good time. So it comes through. So it was nice. We watched Star Wars and chilled and other stuff too. So it was a good birthday. Mainly the main thing I wanted was a monitor, but I'm thinking about getting me a cross too, with what's going on this year, and everything, because I've really kind of been dedicating myself to trying to learn this stuff and study it, and understand, because I do feel like we're getting to a time where we don't have much time left with the way the world's going. So much stuff is so many things have fallen into place, and so much stuff is sped up rapidly that we're almost out of here. And I wanna take advantage of using this monitor and being able to play with it with other games, but I don't know. We'll see where it goes. Probably mainly gonna do Assassin's Creed Shadows, and then the rest of it, but we'll see where that goes. But yeah, that's about it. It's nice. It's an IPS monitor, and I like IPS monitors because they give off really nice and bright colors, and they're really, really good for stuff like that. So and everything. I had a 1080 and I had a 4K. I wanted a 1440p monitor, to go along with it. I wanted the 1440 one, and a better, and a monitor with and a monitor with higher frames to take advantage of my new computer I got back in. I got this computer. Well, I had two computers, but this is my second. The other one broke on me. It froze on me. I talked about this back on my old channel before it got taken down, but my old computer froze on me, and I had to take it to Best Buy and had to get it fixed. And then I had to get it replaced because they couldn't do anything to fix it. And the other one I got was back on Christmas of last year, and that one broke. That was the one that broke because I had it for 2 months, and I had to take that one back. So, and I had my old one, which had a lot of problems. So I've had to go through 3 computers now, which is a pretty big hassle, very much. But this is the 3rd one I've had now, and I finally got to a computer that actually didn't overheat or didn't have any problems or wasn't sounding like a jet plane taking off. It was really, really loud. And I'm convinced the computer was so loud that it overheated and pretty much destroyed itself. It destroyed itself because it pretty much was not working properly, and it pretty much just completely it went out on itself because it pushed itself. It was going too hard that it completely just went out. I'm convinced it overheated or something happened to it and it destroyed itself. I don't know what happened to that last computer I had, but I was streaming one day and all of a sudden, boom, it just froze or it stopped working, and then I would try to turn it back on. It didn't even work. The fans didn't even rotate or nothing worked, and it was completely just dead. But before that, it sounded like it literally sounded like a jet engine taking off. So it sounded like a loud jet engine or a loud airplane taking off. When it would turn on, it didn't sound right. It would sound extremely loud, and stuff. This one's like super quiet, and this one's like super quiet. The one I have now is like super quiet and hardly makes any noises. And it's worked for me for the most part since I got it, but I ordered that from I ordered that from a third party store. I ordered that computer from a third party thing, and then the one I got now was from Best Buy, and I picked it up at the store. That way, it wouldn't be nothing would happen to it. And anyway, and it's worked for me. It's pretty much been the best computer I've had so far out of all three of them, and I'd say for the most part, it's worked out. I mean, it's worked for me now for 3 months. I've had this thing for 3 months. I got this one back in March, and everything. But so I've had it. Well, okay, I've had it for 2 months technically, but 2 months, and I'll say probably for the most part it's worked out pretty well. And one thing I like about this PC that I have now is it has a CPU gauge. It has a thing on it where you can monitor the temperature of the CPU, so you can determine if you can make sure it's not too hot. You're making sure it doesn't overheat, or it's not too hot, or it doesn't, or the temperature's not too high to where it can cause a lot of problems, or something will happen to it. For the most part, but yeah, you can it has a temperature gauge, or the ability to watch to see what it's running at. And I check it every now and then just to make sure it doesn't overheat on me, or something else doesn't happen to this PC like the other one I had. So, but for the most part, I've not had any problems with this computer. I've not had any problems with this computer, and it's worked out for me pretty well. But anyway, and it's been really useful. And I've probably been using this thing more than my gaming consoles and my PS5 and stuff like that. Period. I've been using my computer more than anything. Especially with the fact that my buddy Trav hasn't been around, and he's been so busy, and we haven't really done anything for weeks now. Since I think the last time we did something together was played Sniper Elite, and then we beat the game, and then we finished the campaign, and then he's just been really busy since then. So I don't know what's going on, but I've been using this probably more than anything. Probably my computer, and everything, and it's really good. It's fast. It's really nice, and for the most part, it works out really well for me, and it's probably the best computer I've had so far for recording videos, streaming, and video editing, and it does what I need it to do. It's pretty much the best computer I've had, and I'd say it's probably my baby at this point. It's my baby, and everything, and for what it is. But at this point, this has become my baby since I've got it, and I don't plan on anything happening to it. And if it breaks, I'm gonna be pissed. Because the last time it did, the last one that broke, I got really angry. So, but it's gonna be bad if it breaks. I'm gonna be mad. But it's nice, and everything. It's nice. It does everything I need to do. It's, for the most part, it's probably the most reliable computer I've ever had, and don't really use this PC much for, I guess I'd say, recording and streaming, and that's it. I don't do a lot of gaming on it like I used to. I'll game on it on occasion, but I mainly use it for YouTube and my channels, and my content. That's where I work on making my stuff, building my brand, and making my things that I do, and everything. And at one point I was studying for CompTIA, but well, that didn't go very well, and then all the other stuff. So depending on where things go in the future, I would like to get back to studying for comp, but I don't think that will happen until May. But I don't know where things are going to go going forward with all that. But it's nice. It's a nice computer, and everything. It's very silent. Stays cool for the most part. I've never had any problems with it, and it's a very reliable computer, and everything. And I haven't had to turn it off or do anything to it like the other computer. I'll leave it on, and it work, and I leave it on, or sometimes after I'm done recording, and it stays for the most part pretty cool and stable. I've never had to really come back, and never had anything bad happen to it like the other one, where at times I would get alarms and signals, and I would get some weird stuff on my computer telling me that that the one I had before would be having it would overheat, or there would be problems with it. And anyway, it didn't work out very well. That computer did not work well at all, and it had problems. But this one, I've never had any issues. I've left it on, and it stayed the way it is for I've left it on. It stayed where it is after I'm done recording, making stuff, and everything. And for the most part, it works well for me. I've never had any issues with this computer really at all. Um, so far, and it's pretty reliable. And it's very 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 quiet and very so it's very very quiet and nice, and it stays cool. It's really well built. The people that build it, it's a pretty solid computer, and it's solid in general. But it stayed cool and it stayed solid for the most part. Even when I tried to play certain games that required high performance, it's never really let me down. This has probably been the best computer I've ever had. But and I don't know. Anyway, but it's good to do my work and the stuff I do, including making the thing I do for my channel. So, and everything. And I'm gonna keep, and I really do rely on it a lot now with what I do and make. And I'm gonna use, and I'm gonna be making the stuff I do until I can't make it anymore with the way things are going. So, I really need my PC to continue to make my stuff I do, including with the updates on the Middle East and Iran. And I do try to put a lot of hard work into what I do with the content I make. So, and everything, and stuff like that. But I wanted to get a better monitor to take advantage of my computer, and I wanted it for the higher performance and for games, and for those higher frames with with games in the future, because I still want to play those newer releases when they come out, including GTA 6. Well, actually, that's not going to be on PC till later. That comes to PS5. But those newer releases coming out, I want the monitor to get those higher frames, so I can, I want a monitor to take advantage of those higher frames with my new computer, so that I can get the best out of that stuff with with those releases. That's another thing. That's why I wanted this monitor. So, but other stuff too, and I wanted to take advantage of PS5's VRR support, which I still might use this for that. I don't know. Because you didn't get those added 120 frames per second with some games you couldn't get if you didn't when you didn't have this monitor. And yeah, that was about it mainly. But we got a lot of stuff to talk about. Okay, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. Okay. Well, the monitor was fixed. I mean, the internet's fixed now. Apparently, I just got a signal now. But yeah. So we got a lot of stuff to talk about. First thing that I want to talk about is Trump's Secretary of Staff, head Secretary of Staff, Pete Hegseth, or one of Trump's envoys, Pete Hegseth, they said he was fired yesterday and replaced with someone else. There's a news article here. Trump apparently fired Hegseth because he was drinking, or he was drunk on the job. He looked like he was wasted, apparently they were saying. So, yeah, Secretary of State Pete Hegseth it also says there was a second Signal group chat where it says two sources confirmed that the defense secretary used his personal phone to send information about U.S. Military operations in Yemen to a 13-person group chat. Two sources with knowledge on the matter told NBC News that Hex had sent information about the Yemen strike to a 13-person group chat that included his wife and his brother. Hex had blamed his story on responsible former employees and attacked the media for covering it. A group of House Democrats is in El Salvador today to advocate for the release of Kilmer Rego Garcia. Well, there was something about... Yeah, here it is. Said Trump told to sack Pete Hegseth over reports of second war plans group chat. Again, take that with a grain of salt because you can't believe everything the media says, but that's interesting. They had another... Hegseth had a first group chat signal that was leaked to some other guy, and now it seems like it says Joe Casper, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth's chief of staff, will leave his role in the coming days for a new position at the agency, according to a senior information official amid a week of turmoil for the Pentagon. Senior Advisor Dan Caldwell, Hegseth Deputy Chief of Staff Darren Selnick, and Colin Carroll, the Chief of Staff to Deputy Defense Secretary Stephen Finberg, were placed on leave this week in an ongoing leak probe. All three were terminated on Friday, according to three people familiar with the matter, who, like others, were granted immunity to discuss a sensitive issue. The latest incidents added to the Pentagon's brutal upheaval in recent months, including fallout from Hegseth's release of sensitive information in a signal chat with other international security leaders and a controversial department visit by Elon Musk. Caldwell, Carroll, Selnick, and Casper declined to comment. Two of the people said Carroll and Selnick planned to sue for wrongful termination. The Pentagon did not respond to a request of comment. Casper requested an investigation into Pentagon leaks in March, which included military operational plans for the Panama Canal. A second carrier headed to the Red Sea. Musk visit and a pause in the collection of intelligence for Ukraine. But some at the Pentagon also started to notice a rivalry between Casper and the fired advisors. Joe didn't like those guys, said one defense official. They all have different styles. They just didn't get along. It was a personality clash. The changes will leave Hegseth without a chief of staff, deputy chief of staff, or senior advisor in his front office. So there's a complete meltdown in the building, and this is really reflecting on the secretary's leadership, said a senior defense official. Pete Hegseth has surrounded himself with some people who don't have his interest at heart. This week's terminations follow a purge of top military officers in February. Yeah, Trump fired a bunch of military officers in February, too. That was also a thing that I forgot to mention, including former Joint Chiefs Chair General C.Q. Brown and Chief of Naval Operations Madame Lisa Franchetti. There's likely to be more chaos, said a third defense official. It certainly reinforces the fear factor where it is that no one's job is safe. Other officials wondered what this would mean for Hegseth, a still inexperienced Pentagon leader who has just lost many of his top advisors. The front office has some really first-rate uniformed military staff, but there's only so much they can pick up an organization as big, said a former Trump administration official. Kind of dysfunctional compounds. Democrats pointing to the firings as another example of Hegseth's inability to lead the agency. Everyone knows that Pete Hegseth is not the position of leadership. Anyway, but it's a possibility that they're saying Hegseth could be fired because he's gotten himself in a lot of hot water, including leaking a second signal chat about plans for about Yemen and the Houthis. So that was kind of interesting. And here's the story here from Reddit. It says Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has a rocky last few months prior to his nomination for his current post. He was most well known for being a major in the U.S. Army Reserves and a frequent frequent contributor on Fox News after Trump nominated him. His candidacy received intense controversy and pushback from both Democrats and Republicans. He was revealed to have made past inflammatory comments regarding Muslims, homosexuals, and women. He had a history of reported spousal abuse of his ex-wives. Finally, there were several allegations that he was an uncontrolled alcoholic, leading some observers to question if he could effectively lead the department. Regardless, he was ultimately confirmed by an extremely narrow 50-50 with VP tiebreaker vote in the Senate, with 3 Republicans voting against him and the 4th Republican, Senator Tom Tillis, only supporting his nomination at the last minute after being threatened with a primary challenge by Trump. Hegseth continued to amass controversy in the role as Secretary of Defense. Most recently, he shared sensitive details of a military ops plan on an unsecured signal chat, during which an Atlantic reporter was mistakenly invited to listen in on the discussion. This was the first signal chat. This was the first leaked signal chat, and then there's been a second leaked signal chat by Hegseth. He very well could on the verge of being fired for leaking sensitive information to the press and other people. I don't know what this is about, but it's kind of interesting. Further was revealed that he was also shared details with his wife and his brother, neither of whom has necessary clearance. Several senior advisors at the Pentagon were just removed from their positions for unclear reasons, and some have come out publicly to say the department is in total chaos under Hegseth's leadership. Now NPR reported that the White House is looking for a replacement. The White House has begun the process of looking for a new Secretary of Defense, according to a U.S. official who was not authorized to speak publicly. The press secretary has strongly denied this article, saying that Trump still has utmost confidence in Hegseth. Is she correct, and these are just substantial rumors, or is Hegseth on his way out? It was likely on his list to replace him. I think there's a possibility he could be replaced, or he might be gone. I don't know. Again, it's the media, but there's been a lot of talk about Hegseth being fired. And Trump, your job is never safe with Trump. If you don't do a lot of what he tries to get you to do, he'll fire you. Trump fires a lot of people. He's replaced a lot of people at certain positions in his presidency this year. So does it surprise me that Hegseth will be fired? No. And I think there's a possibility he might be. There's a possibility. It's really 50-50. I'm not saying, but apparently Trump said he was defending Hegseth, so I'm not sure. But there's been rumors about Hegseth's jobs being. There's been a rumor about Hegseth's jobs being on the line and him being fired. And it was a couple hours ago, actually. So that's the first thing. Second thing is Pope Francis died at the age of 88 yesterday. And a lot of people are saying that the Pope passing away, Francis was the last Pope, and it's going to lead to the Petrus Romanus prophecy as the last Pope, meaning that the Pope now that's going to take over is going to be the false prophet and going to be the person that's behind the Antichrist. And the Antichrist is it's about to be here, so we're getting close to the rapture. And everything. And Pope Francis dying was the sign of a new era. So there's some really interesting things coming with all that. But they're reporting to the Petrus Romanus prophecy, Peter the Roman, as being the Pope that's going to be involved in tribulation. So there's a lot of things happening there. And everything. This Pope is supposedly being black and, again, having to do with race, and everything, so kind of interesting. And then Bubba's got some stuff here on the Middle East that I wanted to share with you guys here, and stuff, real quick. Talking about how we're like really close to stuff, and I also got a video that I wanted to show that he put out. He put this out a couple hours ago. I wanted to, put it up or talk about it, show you guys it, but I couldn't because we were having network problems before I got on here to record. So, Public put that out several hours ago, and I was listening to it, but I didn't get a chance to. Anyway, I wanted to show that. And everything. There's a couple of things going on actually with the news. Another thing is the Gaza war is about to end. They're working on trying to get a 5 to 7 year truce thing going on and trying to end the Gaza war. And some talks about that. So we'll get to that. Yanks also beat Yanks also beat Tampa yesterday, or not Tampa. They beat a. See, I don't know who they played today. I know they played Tampa yesterday, but I don't know who they played today or yesterday. I don't know who they played yesterday. Um, Bubba's Bubba's trying to mention that we're really close to the Harpazo and the Rapture. Um, Shoot. Well, hmm, won't let me search it. All right, that's odd.
Power off.
That's odd. Telegram's not showing up. Telegram's not having his stuff show up. They might be cracking down on what he's trying to do. They might be cracking down on his stuff on what he's trying to do because I can't. It won't let me access his page. Hold on a minute. It could be issue here. Let me see here a minute. Yeah, I can't bring it up for some reason. There's some issues. Let me try again here. If I can't bring it up on Telegram, I'll bring up the video so people can see it if you haven't seen it. Yeah, I can't get it to bring. I can't get it to come up on Telegram. Um, could be the network, but well, damn. All right. Yeah, I brought it up now. There we go. Still having network problems though. Let's see. Uh, haha. A lot of stuff to cover. A lot of stuff to cover. I'm telling you, man. I am, man. So we'll start with this. It says I'm gonna put out what would happen if to the nuclear reactors in Iran thing with the alarm, and everything. Uh, it says if in the future Iran makes uranium for nuclear power reactors for electricity, such as Bashir 1 or Darkhoven, those reactors pose a high risk of major accidents, with Gulf states downwind. The Bashir 1 nuclear power reactor has had serious safety deficiencies as circularly documented by WANO and IAEA. This map is from a set of internal Iranian nuclear power documents that evaluates where the radiation will go following a nuclear reactor accident at Bashir 1 or attack that releases 1 becquerel of calcium. Okay, no. I think I've already read that, actually. I think I read that the other day. Went over that. Okay, no, we'll start here. I'm sorry. This is today's, or this was yesterday's. I'm sorry. This is what went down on my birthday, or Okay, so First Thessalonians 5, which actually I got done reading when we were having a storm. I actually started reading these when we lost the network. So First Thessalonians 5, it says, is so important for today. It says, with the Pope dying, we need to test and examine everything to see a bigger picture. We have to hold on to the good, abhor what is evil, cling to what is good. Romans 12:9. It says this is beginning to unravel prophetically as the New World Order's new religious guru will step onto the global stage soon. Bubba is saying that the next possible potential pope or the next big dude that's going to take over after Pope Francis is going to be a dude named Noah Havel Harari. Hooray. Um, or he believes his first pick for the next pope is going to be a black pope named Noah Yuval Harari. Now that Klaus Schwab announced that he's stepping down from the... Okay, I'm sorry. No, this is not the Pope. This is the dude that's going to take over for the World Economic Forum. The Klaus Schwab, the guy behind WEF, the big dude that was talking about the Agenda 2030 thing that they mentioned a while back, or they mentioned, recently. He's stepping down from the WEF, and there's this, and this is this is a guy who's been his apprentice, and he's been training him, and he's going to be the next big head of the WEF. It says Noah Yuval Harari, now that Klaus Schwab announced that he's stepping down from the WEF, the World Economic Forum. Bubba also talked about, and I'll get to that in a minute, but it said the Pope died at 7:35 this morning and was announced to the world at 9:45 a.m. Vatican time. And what people don't understand, what people find, what's very interesting is that J.D. Vance was one of the very last people to meet with the Pope. I'm not saying he was the last, but he was one of the last before he died. And he had a tweet on X about that and talking about that. Not to mention, it says that Trump said he was going to eat. Trump was flying the flags half-mast for the Pope after he died. And it also says Trump's going to go to the Pope's funeral in the next couple of days. And Vance was one of the last people to do this, so it's kind of a very interesting concept what happened here. It says, what did Franklin Graham... And Franklin Graham also was talking about the Pope. It said, what did Franklin Graham ask for prayers for the Catholic Church and the people within the Catholic Church to begin the process of selecting a new Pope of no hope? Why did Franklin Graham ask for prayers for the Catholic people to be able to find and know the real Jesus, and not embrace them into looking for a new vicar of Christ, asking for a friend? Says Franklin Graham, Pope Francis passed away this morning after battling health issues. He was able to have meetings and appear at some of the Vatican's Holy Week observances in just the last couple of days. I had the opportunity to meet and talk with him last year. Not to mention that it's kind of strange or a little odd coincidence that he passed away right after Easter. He did, or right after. Well, most people would say Easter. Other people would say, the resurrection, and everything, right? But yeah, most people say he passed away on a very, very holy celebration day for most people. It's kind of odd that a lot of people say he passed away on the 20th. That he died on the 20th of April, and that was like, anyway. So a lot of people are saying God wasn't happy with the Pope. That's why he passed away at a young age. And possibility, because I've heard some really interesting about the, Catholics. I've heard a lot of interesting things about the Vatican, and I think they're evil, but that's just me. I've heard a lot of things about what he was involved with. My friend Trav thinks he was a false prophet. I'm not sure about when it comes to that, but yeah. But anyway, he died. Had the opportunity to meet with him and talk with him last year when I went to Naples to preach. Pray for the Catholic Church as they begin the process of selecting another pope. It says WEF founder and chairman Klaus Schwab resigns with immediate effect. The Easter weekend brings a change in leadership at the World Economic Forum. World Economic Forum founder and chairman Klaus Schwab resigns with immediate effect. Klaus Schwab resigning the same weekend the Pope dies. The Prince of Darkness, Lucifer, is making his moves behind the scenes. It says, how convenient. Nothing streams more quietly like stepping down while the rest of the world is staring at the Vatican curtain. Not only that, but it says that this dude has a really interesting plan for the future. We're getting close to the beast system, man. This isn't a retirement. It's a tactical advantage, a changing of power, opening up to 2 new positions for the global new world beast system. Because when your organization is known for digital ID rollouts, global resets, and treating national sovereignty like a worn-out concept, timing is everything. If a WEF was just about economic collaboration, they'd hold fewer private jet meetings and more public accountability. But no, it's always been without influence, without election policy, without consent. And now the main WEF architect steps aside. So right when no one is looking or paying attention, if that doesn't make you look twice, you're not paying attention. Then he also says Trump is deploying multiple air defense systems in Israel ahead of possible Iran attack. And if no one thinks that we're going to possibly go to war with Iran, or they're about to hit Iran soon, I don't think you know what's going on, because it looks like it's really close. Not to mention that Israel's already kind of said that they might go at this alone on their own, because Trump is not, because they're getting fed up and annoyed with Iran, don't want them getting in their hands on nukes, and they don't know if they're gonna, Iran's, pretty much doesn't want, Israel doesn't want Iran having time to build nukes, so, and everything, because Trump wants to try to get a deal done before this happens. And they said he called off. They said he called off Israel because they wanted to go attack. They wanted to go start. They wanted to try to get this attack plan, or this. They wanted to try to hit Elam by May, but they got called off. It says everything is being prepared for the upcoming attack on Iran and Elam in particular. It says 8 C-17 heavy transport aircraft landed at their Israel Nevatim base yesterday. It's April 10th, 25 heavy aircraft, all or most of them loaded with Patriot and THAAD missiles. Interceptor systems have loaded at the base in preparation for a possible Iranian attack and the expected Iranian response to an Israeli-U.S. airstrike on its nuclear program. I will be a guest on with Vendog Radio live at 6 p.m. Eastern tonight. I've watched that guy. People would really like him. I've actually seen some of his stuff. Says we're going to be talking about what's going on with the death of Pope, of no hope, the plan, stepping down of Klaus Schwab. And this is the new World Economic Forum dude's agenda. And I'm telling you, man, these are some creepy people, and this dude is creepy dude. Creepy mofo. He is. Okay. This is what he wants for the future, possibly, or this is what they're trying to push toward coming soon to a theater near you, which is why the rapture's going to be here soon. So get yourself ready, because I think we'll be out of here soon. Noah Havel Harari top as to Klaus Schwab. Said COVID is critical because this is what convinces people to accept a total biometric surveillance under the skin. Not to mention that Bubba said that this dude was actually a Trump advisor. This dude was involved with Trump. Not forget, this is still the goal. And now with Klaus Schwab stepping down, I'm watching for Noah Harari to fill in the lead position of the World Economic Forum. I could see Noah pushing for and enforcing what's coming, surveillance under the skin. In other words, aka the mark of the beast. You can't buy or sell without taking a mark in your right hand or forehead. Pope Francis was definitely part of the club. Now that Pope Francis has passed away, President Trump announced he will attend a funeral in Rome. In Rome, as a reminder, some of the nuclear talks between the American delegation and that of Iran are also taking place. It will be interesting to see what happens if the president of Iran attends the funeral as well. Yeah, wouldn't that be interesting? And this was really interesting. Bubba says now they're making the rapture a uh, talking about the rapture is hate speech against the Jews and anti-Semitism, which Trump is not. Trump is basically doing stuff against anti-Semites, which has to do with the Jews. There's been definitely been a dark shift overnight in the past 24 hours from Israel 365 News, as a lot of Christians use for Bible prophecy. News of all things says this is a nail in the coffin, so to speak. The rapture will quickly become hate speech against the Jews, per the White House, because this article pretends that Gero Jews are a part of the blessed hope. Unreal. Trump is going hard against anti-Semitism in any form. Can't wait to discuss this article. Come out today, after Easter, denying the harpazo and calling Jesus a liar. Yeah. From Israel 365 News of all things. Unreal. I guess you can't. I said. I guess you can't help those that are dumb on purpose, or person willingly blinded. Dumb or stupid or yeah, just don't see what's going on. One of those, Bubba. I agree. Can't wait to discuss this one. This will be fun. Says every night, news U.S. Ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee, met with Prime Minister Netanyahu in Jerusalem. Today, Mike met with Israeli President Isaac Herzog. Then later today, he released a video response back to the WHO, the World Health Organization. Official called Huckabee to have him put pressure on Israel to bring more humanitarian aid to the people of Gaza. Mike said, how about we put the pressure where it really belongs, on Hamas? And I agree. Why can't we put pressure on Hamas to release the hostages? Because they still got all those Israeli hostages. Report. Mediators propose 5 to 7 year truce. Complete IDF pullout from Gaza. Hostages for prisoner swap. Says, well, a senior Palestinian official familiar with the Israel-Hamas ceasefire negotiations has told the BBC that Qatari and Egyptian mediators have proposed a new formula to end the war in Gaza, aka the 7-year Palestinian peace plan. Which, they're not going to tell you that, but that's what they're doing. They're not going to call it a peace plan. Bubba said they're going to call it a truce. A truce first. And then they're going to work on a peace plan. So according to the official, it envisages a truth peace plan lasting 5 to 7 years. Hello, yeah. It's like, you don't think we know what you're doing? Like, come on, man. Y'all can't hide this shit anymore. We know it. We know what you're doing. We've been knowing what you've been doing since when you announced Agenda 2030. So it comes in on everything. We know what you did back on July 13th. And how you tried to kill the former president. Don't sit there and play us for fools. We know exactly what you did. So it comes on everything. This would include the release of all Israeli hostages in exchange for Palestinian prisoners held in Israeli jails. That's number 1. It says 2, a formal end to the Gaza war, and 3, a complete Israeli withdrawal from Gaza. This comes just days after Hamas rejected Israel's latest proposal, which included a demand for Hamas to disarm in return for a 6-week truce. A senior Hamas delegation was due to arrive in Cairo for consultations. Israel has not yet commented on the mediator's plan. Then Bubba says it's coming a 7-year ceasefire peace plan between Israeli and Gaza Palestine. Wow. Yeah. And that's the coming year Antichrist 7-year peace plan to bring peace to the Middle East. And that's the Daniel 9:27 covenant. Which as he confirms a covenant with many nations for 7 years that includes Israel, Palestine, and other countries. So, there's a lot of stuff, man, all falling into place. I just can't help but think that a rapture, that we're there. And it's going to be soon. And we very well could know something either by next Saturday, which is the 26th of April, or we're going to know fairly soon if Israel's going to go attack Iran without the U.S. But they're talking about attacking Iran without the U.S. assistance and Trump. So people need to buckle up because I do think that we are out of here soon. This has been the most explosive Monday prophetically in recent memory. The Pope dying this week, the WF Klaus Schwab story, the rapture becoming hate speech and anti-Semitic, a 5 to 7 year truce peace plan coming. Yes. Buckle up while looking up. Yeah, indeed. Bubba also talked about the stock market too, and saying it was interesting. So it says there's a lot of fear in the stock market. Indeed, investors are fleeing to safety. Gold prices officially soared above 3,500 slash OS for the first time in history. An ounce, 3,500 an ounce. I messed that up. Gold prices are currently up more than 50% over the last 12 months. Gold is now outperforming the S&P 500 since 2020. Something is broken and gold clearly knows it. And according to my dude GRW, he said that when gold goes up, that means we're getting ready to go to war. So something's got to give here. Okay, got an update from Hexif. This is from the Jerusalem Post and it just came out. Trump says that Hexif's doing a great job at leading Pentagon following report of leaks. U.S. President Trump vouched for Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth after the New York Times reported that he shared additional war plans in a separate signal chat. He's doing a great job, Trump told reporters on Monday, adding that reporters can ask the Houthis about Hegseth's job performance. Hegseth was there to get rid of a lot of bad people, and that's what he's doing, he said as reported by the Washington Post. So if you don't always have friends when you do that. Other senior administration officials publicly railed on Hegseth after the report, which outlined how he shared strike plans on the Houthis in Yemen in group chats and included members of his personal entourage such as wife and brother. Leakers to blame for report, White House says. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said that Hegseth is doing phenomenal leading the Pentagon. This is what happens when the entire Pentagon is working against you and working against the momental change you are trying to implement, she told Fox News on Monday. Trump, Leavitt, and Hegseth had blamed a New York Times report on employees who leaked information. On the day of the report, Hegseth called the president, who in turn blamed the report on disgruntled leakers. The New York Times reported, citing a person knowledgeable at the call. I don't trust the New York Times. I don't trust a lot of news media outlets. I think they're biased. But yeah. I get a lot of my news from independent sources. The report said that Trump told Hegseth that he had his back and that he also had plenty of experience dealing with leaks. After the call, the president instructed his staff to publicly back Hegseth. This comes after the New York Times reported that he had shared details of a March attack on Yemen's Houthis in a message group that included his wife, brother, and a personal lawyer. Hegseth shared the same strike details of the attack that were relieved last month by the Atlantic magazine after its editor-in-chief Jeffrey Goldberg. Yeah, Jeffrey Goldberg thing was, that's old news, but yeah, was included in a separate chat. In other news of leaks, officials serving both under former U.S. President Joe Biden and U.S. President Donald Trump anonymously publicized classified information to thousands of federal employees, the Washington Post reported Monday. This information was shared in the Google Drive folder by General Services Administration employees with the whole GSA workforce, according to a report. Among the data made privately to over 11,200 staff were potentially confidential White House floor plans and particulars for a proposed armored door for the White House Visitor Center. On Sunday, Politico published an opinion piece by John Hegseth, reportedly departed spokesman who argued that the Pentagon is in disarray under Hegseth's leadership. NPR reported on Monday that the administration was starting to look for alternatives for Hegseth, but the White House said this was fake news. So, that's the latest about the Hegseth situation, according to the Jerusalem Post. And it says, hearing for Netanyahu's testimony on Case 1000 cut short. Court rules 7 years, NIS $200,000 for Nachal Tezevet school directors. It also said some dude called for civil war. Anyway, Israel strikes south of Beirut. That was another thing, and I don't know. Might not have um, network connection. Let me see. Okay, I do. Nope, I don't. Fuck. Nah, I don't have a network connection. I can't bring the other stuff up, but here I can bring it up on my phone. Or I'll do it like this. I'll let y'all listen to it though. I can't bring it up right now. Something's wrong with our internet. But here's some recent stuff that was put out there. And then I guess I'm gonna play some Assassin's Creed Shadows. I'm gonna play some Shadows after this because I can't really do anything without a network connection. I want to test my new monitor with Shadows, see how it is, but yeah. So here's the thing about Israel.
Looking for a perfect checking account?
Israel planning on attack on Iran without U.S. help. The Trump team is furious.
Don't waste your time. No minimum balance, no monthly fees, and a convenient app. Now you could try and find that.
Comes to these situations, and it seems like we're starting down this path now with Trump and Hegseth and Tulsi and some of the folks that are in lockstep with him on this. Is look, when it comes, sometimes it's the simple answers right in front of you. When it comes to these foreign wars and these, even with Israel, who has been a friend on a lot of issues, I think there's some other stuff that doesn't get talked about enough in that relationship, but different episode. Like, we, just because they're our friends and they want to go do something stupid and start a full-scale war with Iran doesn't mean that we should be involved. Like, we've got to be able to do that, whether it's there or in Ukraine with Europe and the little dancer dude over there. Like, hey man, if you want to do stupid stuff, go ahead by all means. We're going to do our thing over here and just kind of watch from afar. Like, we don't have to get involved in this, and historically we always have, but we make so many decisions in this country, whether it's about war or the economy or the border or fill in the blank with, well, that's how we've always done it. Well, how we've always done it is stupid. Like, name something that we've done smartly.
Yeah, I got no connection.
And the more that we
I got no internet
and we
connection.
do mature and we see things different, it's like, oh man, like we've done it all wrong.
Yeah, it's really true. I can't point to a single instance where I said, yeah, this is great. You know, what we did in Iraq, it's been fantastic, which was Israel's bidding. What was Israel's bidding, by the way. What we did in Libya has been fantastic. What we helped coordinate in Syria has been fantastic. Afghanistan, Serbia, Somalia, Haiti. I mean, it fries my brain to think about it. I can't wrap my head. Do you think that the Trump administration is going to cave on this? I mean, I don't want to put words in your mouth. I'm saying this. I think the Israeli lobby, the AIPAC organizers, the Mossad people who are actively going on social media and slamming Pete Hegseth are really trying to bring him down. They want to replace him with a neocon in there, absolutely do the bidding of this. Do you think that Trump is going to be successful in stopping this and in protecting Pete Hegseth, or do you think they're going to cave by the end of the week?
I have my concerns. I don't know. The short answer is I don't know. I think that, historically there's been some decisions, particularly when it comes to personnel and understanding DC and just how the whole thing works. He understands it a lot better this time. He's got, less to lose this time. But I also wouldn't say without reservation, like, oh no, he'll never cave on this. The administration will do the right thing. I don't feel that confident about it. I'd like to think that they'll do the right thing here. But there's been enough things over the years, including the last term. And look, I love Trump. Trump's done amazing things. I'm all about it. Voted for him 3 times. But he's also not perfect. The administration's not perfect. And he's operating in this broke-ass environment that is D.C., where nothing makes sense and it doesn't work and everyone's out to get you. So I wouldn't be shocked. I think it's kind of a coin flip.
Yeah. We'll see if he caves. But, we had... I'll just play this and we'll get you out of here, Drew. This is from this morning, just a few... Because we saw you... President Trump with that Easter egg roll saying that, Pete's doing a great job. Ask how great he's doing. Ask the Houthis how he's doing, But anyway, I fully support him. And then this morning, Caroline Leavitt once again doubling down on this. So take a look at that. He wrote, there it goes. Go ahead, play this one.
The president stands strongly behind Secretary Hegseth, who is doing a phenomenal job leading the Pentagon. And this is what happens when the entire Pentagon is working against you and working against the monumental change that you are trying to implement. Secretary Hegseth was not nominated for this position because he is standing up for the war fighter, the men and women in uniform who are putting their lives on the line to protect our country and our homeland. And unfortunately, there have been people at that building who don't like the change the secretary is trying to bring, so they are leaking and they are lying to the mainstream media. We've seen this game played before. The secretary is doing a tremendous job, and the president stands strongly behind him.
So something she said there stood out to me. The entire Pentagon is against him. He's there trying to... that's 20,000 people. Do you think that that's the case?
I think that seems a little extreme, but I think that's a thing that we tend to forget on our side. Everyone's so excited about the wins we're getting. This cabinet's great. Trump's doing so many great things with executive orders. Hopefully we can get to the point where we're doing some more of it with law. But there's still so much left over. I mean, starting back with the Obama administration, the amount of people that kind of infiltrated all these organizations throughout the country, not just in D.C., but all these organizations everywhere, there's a lot of people there who are still not on board with everything we're doing, and some of them have some clout. Now, do they have as much clout as SecDef or obviously the president? No, but there is going to be pushback. So I think that there's that. When it comes to the caving, by the way, it's just so nice not to have someone in an Easter Bunny suit have to wrangle presidents or staff at the at the egg roll. But the thing is with this, like, I would be shocked if they caved on him. I say coin flip because I have my concerns about how strong DC is. I'm more concerned about caving on the Israel issue than I am about actually on Pete. That's where I hope he really, and the two should go lay lockstep, obviously, but that's where I hope that he really, Trump, Pete, Tulsi, all of them remain in lockstep and just say, no, we can be friends. You're not doing this. If you do it, you're on your own. We'll see where it goes from there. But that number, I don't know. It's not that many. But these organizations are very partisan. I mean, I'm telling you, the intel community that I lived in towards the end was very different than the beginning. There was lots of you were encouraged, or at least maybe not encouraged, but coddled when you spoke out about administration, something you're not supposed to do. Like, I always just served whoever the president was. I disagree with Obama, but I'm going to go do the mission, and he's going to make it hard for us to do the mission. It's going to be terrible, and people are going to leave their jobs, but I'm going to do what we're supposed to do, and then when Trump's there, we're going to do it this way. But the culture shift has been strong, and it does carry some weight.
I appreciate what you're saying. I hope that, hey, they took some Israel lobbying money during the campaign, but that is enough that's not enough for them to make changes inside their administration and go to war with Iran. No, thank you for, we'll still have Israel's support, but we are not going to put Americans in the line of fire in Iran, despite the fact that we took lobbying money from you for my presidential campaign. I hope that's the case. Drew, great to see you. Love your take on this, and I think it's a really clear-headed take. So we'll see at the end of the week here. Hopefully these reports are false, that Pete will not be out by the end of the week. Thanks, Drew. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me again.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now, and the best partner is the one who can deliver.
And then I thought this was interesting.
Far off, yet he shall. Hey guys, you remember in 2016 when Prince died on 4/21, and he sang a song called "I Would Die for You"? 4 is the 4th month of April, and U is the 21st letter. I would die for you. April 21st, Prince died on 4/21. Today is April 21st, and Pope Francis died. And there's a line in this song that says, I am your Messiah. I am your Messiah. Pope Francis, false prophet, died April 21st. Okay, I think I'm going to piggyback this information into that clip there that I just showed you. I am your Messiah. I will die April 21st. I will die for you. Prince died April 21st. Pope Francis has now died April 21st. I'm your Messiah. So what I want to share with you now, I want to go over some information. I shared 2 videos yesterday about May 14th. But I want to focus on May 12th through May 14th. And I want to talk to you about Second Passover and Second Passover Resurrection Day connected to the 14th day of the second month and the 17th day of the second month. Okay, first of all, I want to explain why I showed this date here, Wednesday, May 14, 2025, after sunset. Why did I show it after sunset? And this has to do with the fact that it was at midnight on May 14, 1948, that the Provisional Government of Israel proclaimed a new state of Israel. On that same date, the United States, in the person of President Truman, recognized the Provisional Jewish Government as de facto authority of the Jewish state. And the U.S. delegates to the UN and top-ranking State Department officials were angered that Truman released his recognition statement to the press without notifying them first. And it was the very next day, on May 15, 1948, the first day of the Israel independence, and 1 year after the UN Special Committee on Palestine was established, May 15, 1947. And so on May 15, 1948, Arab armies invaded Israel and the Arab-Israeli War of 1948 began. So this is the 77th anniversary of the rebirth of Israel. And I'm pointing to after midnight or after sunset because the 17th day of the second month is the day of the flood. Genesis 7:11. In the 600th year of Noah's life, in the second month, the 17th day of the month, the same day were all the fountains of the great deep broken up, and the windows of heaven were opened. Okay, and then second Passover is shown to us in Numbers 9, 10, and 11, which would be May 12th. Okay, May 12th, Pesach Sheni, 14th day of Ayar, the 14th day of the second month. Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, if any man of you or of your posterity shall be unclean by reason of a dead body, or be in a journey afar off, yet he shall keep the Passover unto the Lord, the 14th day of the second month at even. They shall keep it and eat it with unleavened bread and bitter herbs. Okay, so we're shown second Passover in the Bible, and then we're shown the 17th day of the second month as the beginning of the flood. So if we connect these two, then we have second Passover
This is
and then
really
we have
interesting.
second Passover Resurrection Day.
Very interesting.
Now, why am I pointing to not only Second Passover, but we've got these connections between Pope Francis, Barack Obama, and Donald Trump, all connected to May 12th, which is Second Passover. And so, from the beginning of the Pope's reign on March 13, 2013, to May 12, 2025, it's 4,444 days. From Obama's presidential announcement, when he announced that he was run for president, basically the beginning of his time on the world stage, as he was just announcing his run for presidency, February 10th, 2007, to May 12th, 2025, 6,666 days. And connecting us to the storm of Noah, from Donald Trump's statement, which was actually spoken on October 5th, 2017. And yesterday I had shared October 6th. He spoke it on October 5th, but it was pretty much in the news by October 6th. And so a lot of the articles actually are showing October 6th. But it was because he spoke it the day before, and then on October 6th it all came out into the news. So October 5th, this statement, this is the calm before the storm. Donald Trump connected to the number 7 because
here's my
he
original
was 70
AirPods.
years,
I
7
didn't know
months,
I
and
had
7
them.
days when he first took office. He was born 700 days before the rebirth of Israel on a blood red
I didn't know
moon,
I had my original AirPods in this
full
backpack.
lunar eclipse.
So
And
that's why I can never
so
find
from
it.
this statement, calm before the storm, 7 years, 7 months, and 7 days. So all of this connects to May 12th, 4444 from Pope Francis, 6666 from Barack Obama, 777 from Donald Trump, all to May 12th, second Passover, and then the flood begins on the 17th day of the second month, 7/11, and Donald Trump confused 9/11 with 7/11. Remember? Donald Trump confused 7/11 with 9/11. And so here we have the 7/11 of Donald Trump. And it's Israel's 77th birthday. Okay, so I'll leave the links for you guys of my previous 2 videos that I did yesterday talking about May 14th. And as I shared with you yesterday, this is all connected to the fact that the deadline for the talks between the U.S. and Iran is the middle of May, because the letter was sent with a 2-month deadline in the middle of March. So from March, there was a 2-month deadline set. So basically the middle of May, right there at Israel's 77th birthday, there's a deadline between U.S. and Iran on their nuclear agreement. And if they're not going to come to an agreement, then military action will be taken at the end of this series of events. So this is another thing that is connecting us to the 77th birthday of Israel, or right in that window that we need to be watching. So there's a lot of details that are coming out right now. And now Pope Francis is dead at 88. And his reign as Pope connects us to second Passover by 4,444 days. I'm your Messiah. I will die for you. I will die April 21st. Are you ready for the return of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ? I pray you're blessed today. This is Steve Fletcher with a trumpet for my people, the sign of his coming revealed.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting how all that fits. Ow. And then you have here's my Jew GRW talking about gold still going up. Yeah, and he said that well, gold keeps going up. That means they're getting closer to war. Right here.
You may be at church. You may be at work. You may be asleep. God grant that you will be ready when He
I guess I'll just do some Assassin's Creed because I don't got a connection.
God,
Hey.
what if His appearance occurred on a Sunday morning? My prophetic word to you this morning is get ready! Get ready!
Everyone, welcome back to the channel. Share, subscribe, like this video, make sure you put your prayer request down the bottom. First thing I want to talk about, now listen, we do GoFundMe's here, and we try to help as many people as we can. We've been doing this, and nobody else really does it. It's kind of secret why not. Well, they don't. But we get about 15 or 20 of them a day. I'm not joking. Now, some of these people are repeaters. They keep repeating, and it's becoming like an ATM for a lot of people. Now, we're not going to put the family members through that. We're going to protect them.
Man, they said a lot of people are getting really toxic
Now,
lately.
if you're nice,
But the fact that they can't get their hands on this stuff.
But listen,
They're getting annoyed because they can't get their hands on Bibles. I'm like, bro, just go find one for free. I found all my stuff for free.
Listen, this is not the only thing we do.
You just gotta know how to research it.
And do nothing. So we can't get all this, but YouTube is not going to let us put out 10 to 15 of these things a day. It's just not going to happen. We want to help as many people as we can.
People don't got any patience anymore. I mean, he's right about that. He is, but dude, it's not hard, it's not that hard to find this stuff for free. I found everything I got for free, including Bibles and other stuff, man. I found all the stuff I needed to find for free. You can find it too. All you gotta do is research it.
That's what we all.
It's not hard. Like, you know, people literally think they gotta. I don't know, man. Learn how to do things independently on my own. It's like people nowadays like feel like they're owed stuff or they have to get stuff from other people. It's like, dude, come on, man, for real. Seriously, people are impatient. It's like they can't get that type of stuff. It's like, dude, go find it on your own. I mean, it's not that hard.
Helped many.
I've had to figure out this stuff on my own.
Jesus has led them to us, and we put them on, and the family members have helped. But if you cuss us and threaten us, and we get a lot of that here lately, we're not putting you on, okay? If you're going to be rude, you're definitely not of God, and you just come here to get some money. Because if you're of God, you're going to come here nicely, wait in turn like everybody else, because listen, everybody else has got every message we get from GoFundMe. It's the end of the world, every single one of them. It's not just you. People are hurting all over the world, and we try to help as many people as we can, but I'm not going to let people take advantage of the family members either. It's just not going to happen, okay? We do try to help as many people as we can, but we're getting cussed, threatened, and everything else, and there's just no sense in it. Like I said, we get 10 to 15 a day. That's no joke. And that's not even counting the thousands of messages we get a day, and there's just no way we can go all through that. We don't just
like getting death threats like that. I wouldn't do that either if I were him. I agree. You know, it comes to it, right? It's just like
here we just don't. And like I said, well, I wish we did, but we don't. I'm out delivering Bibles, working everything, and everybody else is doing the same thing. They've got a lot of other things. So sometimes we can't get to your message right on time. Sometimes it might take us a couple of days, even a week sometimes, maybe more. Because we get so many messages, we get so many GoFundMes a day, and I'm not kidding you, we get 10 to 15 a day. And like I said, we try to help as many people as we can because we want to help people. That's what I've always done in my life. I've always helped people. It's what I do here. It's what I try to do for you guys, even you family members.
Ow!
I'm the first one to jump on board.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna
I mean, that's just what I do. I've always been.
try shadows.
But I'm not going to be threatened.
I don't got a
I'm not gonna be
connection.
cussed. I've never been talked to so bad from people that we've actually helped in the past. I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen people like this in my entire life. And I love them, but I mean, people are so rude these days. And it's not all of them, but there's quite a
True.
few. They're just absolutely rude and obnoxious. Listen, I know you're hurting, and I know you're in trouble. But there's a lot of other people that's ahead of you that's going through the same thing. So we like I said, we can't put a bunch on there because family members can't take care of that, okay?
Why
You're
can't?
just wasting your time. Remember, prices
I
went
don't
up
understand why.
for everybody. We have family members
Why can't
here.
certain people
I would
just
say a lot of them
learn how to do things on their own?
Disability and everything else, and they do their best.
It's like they're so used to relying on other people.
Will be blessed
They're so used to relying on others that at this
God
point,
knows all these family members.
I've never really relied on other people to do what I do.
But
I've done
like I
most
said,
things on my own.
Don't be rude. We don't have to do this, people. We're not a bank. We do this, we try to help as many people as we can, but we cannot help everybody. It's impossible. YouTube will shut us down if we keep doing that. You cannot post 10 to 15 of them a day, and plus you would never get anything to help you. You just wouldn't. They're not going to do that. Okay? I'm not trying to be mean, but it's just we're just talked to like pure dogs. We're trying to help people, and just
Oh.
I know you family members that have been here with me since the beginning. You know we try to help as many people as we can. And the family members are the ones that always step up. But we're not going to sit and be talked to like we get talked to in these messages about these GoFundMes. I've never seen anything like it. Shows you the world we live in. Now, Israel's preparing for
I wouldn't let
military
people
strike
talk to me that way
on
either. I'd kick them out.
Despite growing fractures within the political party, military establishment, and renewed.
I forgot something. I wouldn't let people talk to me that way either, man. I would kick them out. If they did that to me, I'd be like, I'm not gonna let you talk to me. I'm not gonna let you speak to me the way you want to. And then you can belittle me. Yeah, people do that to me too, bro. And I don't stand for it. I put them in their place. What's my junk? Oh. Alright. Kind of bored now. Kind of bored with nothing to do with the internet now, so I guess I'm gonna do some Assassin's Creed stuff.
War on Gaza. So there's not just a problem with the United States and all this, it's also inside of Israel's government. That's it. What's coming up? It's called Jacob's Troubles. It's about Israel. That's what the tribulation's about. So I tell you, keep your eyes on them, because that's what it's about. Them and the non-believers that didn't come on board this time. It's for them. It's not for the church. The attack on Iran's nuclear site set for May, part of the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's strategic agenda, was repeatedly delayed after U.S. President Donald Trump stepped in to block it. But that's not going to keep. Now, Trump has sent a lot of equipment just in the last 48 hours, okay? A lot of this you could probably contribute to Mike Huckabee. Now, Huckabee, he's been sometimes he gets on my nerves. I love him to death. Sometimes he truly does get on my nerves, though. But it seems like today he made a stand, and he actually And he should, because he knows Scripture. I know my company knows Scripture. I know he does. He's a good evangelist. And he finally said the truth. Iran seeks to destroy Israel. That's what he said today. And he's right. The Bible tells us that. That is their goal. Persia will come after them. It's all part of this. Okay? And finally somebody stepped in. But Trump has been sending the weapons in there. Even though he's probably going to leave them high and dry and not back them up. And I'm sorry. Israel will do great in this if they go out and hit these. But they're not going to hit the rocket storage sites. That takes the B-2 Spirit or a B-52 to carry the mother of all bombs, they call them Moabs, to be able to lift these things. And a lot of Trump's party are telling him, if you do this, we're not going to support you anymore. That's why a lot of this turmoil is happening. But you got to remember, Trump's got his agenda too. And his agenda is the two-state solution. He's the one who created the Abraham Accords, him and his family. And all this plays a role in this, but he keeps that high, and actually he hides that very, very well, because he don't want his Christian base to find out about this, so he keeps that hid, well hid. He even kept it hid from us in the first term. We didn't even know he did it. I mean, I didn't understand the deals that he was working on, but now I've got a better understanding. Now we all know, once again, we've heard today that the evil empire, the head emperor of the World Economic Forum, stepped down as Klaus. But the guy under him is more evil than anything you ever. If Hitler was reincarnated, it would be the guy that's going to step into his shoes. And it's right. And I'm telling you, this guy is a Jew, but this guy is a lot like Hitler. I mean, he is absolutely a monster beyond anything I don't think we've ever seen since Hitler. Keep your eyes on that dude. I can't think of his name sitting right off the hand, but you all know who I'm talking about. He's something else, and if he ain't a threat, I don't know what is. But not to us, because we're leaving. But he's going to definitely make a big step up here very soon. Over the past month, Israel has proposed that Trump's administration a series of options to attack the facilities, including some of the within late spring and summer timelines. I believe it's here in May. It's going to be the first of May is when I think it's all going to go down.
I do too.
Over the past months, Israel has proposed to Trump's administration.
I think it's going to be first of May too.
Including a mix of airstrikes.
It's going to be the end of April,
definitely. Severity. I guess they're talking about putting troops on the ground, and could set back Tehran's ability to weaponize its nuclear program by just months or a year or more. I don't ever put it past them dropping a tactical nuke on them. I just don't doubt it. According to analysis, Israel's silence on the immediate attack could mean its long-standing ambition, and that's why I kind of feel like right now they're so quiet. This is exactly what happened before. Remember, they hit Hezbollah with those pagers. I just think Israel's getting ready to make a big boom very, very soon. The Trump administration previously said that the intervention would underline Washington's ability to restrain Israel's decision-making when it sees fit. A successful strike would require American support, like I said, the B-2s and the B-52s, even the B-Lancers. B-1 Lancers would be something that could carry those bombs, because a lot of Iran's facilities lie so far into the ground. I mean, we're talking about that 500 to 1,000 feet underground. Iran's air defenses reportedly degraded in the weakened across the region after Israel took their strikes in there with the F-35s. The reshaped the Middle East post-Gaza war, but also defined the political legacy through military victories, holding Iran's nuclear ambitions. Now, somebody's going to hit. It's coming. That's why God's warning us. Since Israel resumed its military campaign in Gaza in March, violating a temporary truce and killing more than 61,000 and wounded in all this war in Gaza, public support remains broadly intact, but protesters have begun, especially among families of Israel hostages held in Gaza in recent weeks. But expect the unexpected right now. Now, also, we're getting tons of warnings on the West Coast about the San Andreas, the Cicadia. This is becoming a very vital place. If you're living on the West Coast, keep your eyes on things right now. The ground's moving. We knew it would close to the end when the rapture was close. We knew it. God warned us about this for years. He gave it to so many people. Confirmation after confirmation after confirmation. So, and we're seeing it shake now more than even scientists are saying that it's been a long time since it's been moving like this. They're warning in Japan, They're warning there on the west coast all the way up to Washington. We've got 3 volcanoes that are just at any time can go off on the west coast that can literally change the history of things. I'm serious. These are 3 violent volcanoes that can really change a country. And people don't even know. We're sitting on a ticking time bomb. I've been saying it. I know I've been saying it for a while. But no time more than now that we're sitting on a ticking time bomb. And I believe the rapture is here in this. And when it all happens simultaneously, we'll be going out of here. That's what's coming. China warns countries not to align with the U.S. in trade. Now, today, China has been big in the news. They're moving things. Now, gold has hit 3,400 people. Now, I know that that don't mean much to a lot of people. They don't understand it. The more gold goes up, the more the world's economies are going to crash. Sorry. It's just the way it is. It's the indicator. No matter, in the Dow today, all that sunk again. Because China's making a move on us. They're telling their people, or these other countries, that we told them not to send them supplies, that if you do that, we're going to cut off the supplies to you. So now we're really in World War III. It's here. Gold is the #1 indicator that we're in World War III. The more it rises, the more the world will collapse. That's just the way it works. Gold goes up, the world collapses. The dollar is sink. Why is that? Because everybody's taking everything out of the stock markets, everything, and putting it into gold. They're buying up all the reserves. China's been doing it for years, and now they're all full-fledged, going 100%. This is another indicator the rapture's close. World War III, I know that I keep saying it, but it's not like other wars. It will be fought differently. And more people will die in this one than both wars combined, World War I and World War II. It's a catastrophe ready to happen. It's coming. Because Pandora's box will be unleashed. God's going to move us out of here, and then peace is going to be taken off the earth. Now, what does that mean? When Jesus takes peace off of this earth, they will want to kill each other. There's nothing. There's no mindset to stop it. They won't care. Okay? They'll go full-fledged into killing whoever. Don't matter who it is. All peace will be removed that day. And then the judgments, the bowl judgments, trumpet judgments, and all that stuff starts to take place. That's why we're telling you how close we are. These #1 indicators of what's happening with Israel. Egypt's on their border. Jordan's over here making a move. We got Syria up here. Iran making their move. They want to annihilate the Jews off the planet. Turkey's making
He's trying to tell you, man.
Just like the Bible tells. And Jesus said, just like J.D.
He's
Fuller
trying
says
to tell
every
you.
Sunday. Jesus said, when this begins, look up. And that's what I'm doing now. My job to tell you is Jesus coming for you. And he is. And we're leaving. And that's the Word of God. And there's nothing, that's the only truth on this planet is the Word of God. And he's coming. And we're going to be leaving here because I watch Israel. I was taught it from the time I was a little kid. To watch them. And that's what I've been doing. And now I've never seen them been put in this position before. Even the enemies they've never had at their door before that Jesus said in the last days would be there is happening now. So I'm telling you, look up. Your redemption is near. Jesus is on his way. He's coming to get us. I know it's bad. It's hard. A lot of people hanging on by a thread. I'm one of them. The mods are ones of them. Don't ever forget that. They're hanging on by a thread just like we are. All of us are. We've got people in hospital beds like little Donna that can barely get up and walk. We've got, this goes on, this list goes on and on. We've got people that are just barely hanging on. But we're one big family, and we're going to stick with this until we're out, and I don't think we have much longer. It is here because what we're seeing with gold, and some other things that came out today, all these are warning signs, all of them switching over to AI, digital, it's all there, people. For the first time, it's all there at the same time. We've never seen it all there at the same time. My job is to tell you it's there. Now people's gonna say, well, you're making it up. They can say that. Listen, they're gonna always say it. They're always gonna make an excuse. I'm trying to stay around this. There's nothing I can do for you. I know what I see. You do the research to do it. We've got people that literally, listen, this group studies scripture like there is no tomorrow. We go through the Bible prophecies every single day. Always learning, always doing something, always figuring out more stuff. That's what we do here. We don't just lollygag on here. We put stuff together. And we get a lot of information. We have boots on the ground all over this planet through this channel. That's the truth. That's what we try to establish when we're here, and we did that. We have boots on the ground in the Baltics, in Europe. We have it in the Asia sector over there. We have it here from left to right, up into Canada, you name it, Mexico, we've got it. We've got boots on the ground everywhere. Anything that moves, we get it here at our hub. And people relay that information from dreams, visions, military movements. We've got it here. That's how we know things before, 2 or 3 days before it happens. Because we got boots on the ground, we established that 2 years ago to build that network, and we have here. And we use it to know what's moving around the world. So we talked about Klaus, he resigned. Now, like I said, it's his crony that's under him. The one he's way worse.
Apprentice. It says apprentice, he trained.
Miss it. Okay, here's his name. It's Yuval
He trained
Noah Harari, and he's the second in command of the World Economic Forum. So he will now become number 1. And this is one of Trump's buddies. Go figure. The signs, there's a lot of disturbing signs, people. A lot of them. Now listen to this. This is coming from Harari, top advisor to Carl Schwab. COVID, I shouldn't have said the word. CV is critical because this is what convinces people to accept total bionic surveillance.
I don't care,
I'm gonna
man.
read that for you again.
It's COVID.
And
That's what it
remember,
is.
revelation. Okay? This is
So what
coming
you
out of
say,
his
COVID?
mouth. This is not mine. I'm not making this up. This is the
CV?
head guy now at the World
I don't care about
Economic
political
Forum.
correctness.
All right. CV is critical because this is what convinces people to accept total biometric surveillance. And all the people Trump brought in, they have the same goals. They've already said it. They've already said, I've read it to you. I've gave you the evidence. Come out of their own mouths what they want to do. And it's the same thing he's saying.
Oh,
He says,
here it is.
under the skin. I'm going to read that again.
Oh, that's funny. I found it. Finally. I've been looking for my other AirPod Pro for a while now, and I finally found it. I got bored with no network connection. I got bored with no network, dude, and I just started looking for shit. Yeah. Anyway. And I found my other AirPod Pro.
Bluetooth pairing. Bluetooth connected.
Probably not gonna have a network connection in the next couple of hours. Oh, shoot. I might not be here today.
To fill in the lead position of what I'm looking for. And we just read his goals. Sounds familiar. It's called the mark of the beast. That's exactly what he just said. Surveillance under the skin. We are at the end, people. I can keep ringing the alarm bells, and I will until we're gone, but they're sounding. If we had those big tornado sirens in every town around, they'd be going off right now. And I'm not just saying it. It's happening. Everything Jesus told us, and that's why we're here. That's why we're telling you. If it wasn't happening, I wouldn't tell you so, but it is. All right, let me get more into this China thing because they've done.
I found all my AirPods.
They're on the lead.
Or I found all my
And it's important
headphone
for all of
pods.
us. Now, breaking 1.5 trillion wiped off the U.S. stock
After
market
looking for
today.
everything.
60 billion was added in the crypto market.
Now I just need to charge them.
China sanctions U.S. Congress members. We talked about that. China cuts off new investments. This is the one. China cuts off new investments in U.S. private equity. Now remember.
Okay,
they are
good.
the biggest
Now I got a
market.
connection back.
Japanese.
Finally, that took forever.
Japan's dropping them too. And the gold keeps going
no,
up.
not
They're
again.
buying the gold. And our stock market.
Why do you
is
keep
crashing.
dropping?
Remember, Satan cannot have the dollar in place when the Antichrist comes. The dollar bill can't be traced, okay? That's why all the bad guys in the world use it. He's going to get rid of it. World War III will do that. Constitutional everything will be gone. He'll control this whole continent. What's left of it.
Oh, I believe that. I
This
believe
is
all
what's
that
coming.
stuff's happening
We're
more than ever
watching
now.
the rise of the Antichrist.
Yep.
I'm saying. The beast system.
You're watching the beginning of the rapture, the start of tribulation, and the rise of the Antichrist.
Talking about under the skin, just like the Bible
We're
said.
getting out of here soon.
When Jesus said, "You see these things begin," I just gave it to you. Look up. Now, China signs a 5-year deal of natural gas deal with the UAE. So they just signed 2 major deals with Canada and the UAE and bypassed us. That's a lot of money. This country just lost. And it's getting worse by the day. And that's why the stock market and gold's going up, the dollar's plummeting. I told you, they know what they're doing. They do. They're going to crash the system, and it's a planned crash. And I've heard many videos of them bragging about it, laughing about it, calling Americans total idiots because they won't see it coming. These people are evil. I'm sorry, they just are. You can't trust them on the left or right. People buy in that their parties are the good parties. There is no good parties. The only thing we have is Jesus. That's it. He's the only one looking over us, watching over us, and telling us what's happening before it happens, and that he's coming to get us. It's only Jesus, people. There is no politician on this earth coming to save you, and they won't. They'll destroy you. That's just the truth. If you can't see that by now, there's nothing we can do. But Jesus is the only way now to keep everything, all eyes on him at this point, okay? Because the world's collapsing. Now, most people don't understand it, and they don't know what's even happening to them, and they won't till it's too late. Just like the days of Noah. Jesus said, it will be just like the days of Noah. They did not suspect a thing until it was too late. The same thing's going to happen here. There's no Jeremiah 49 or Psalms 83 going to happen while we're still here. It's not going to happen. There's not going to be that kind of warning. The only warnings you're getting is right now. Lead up to it. But this stuff does not happen until the rapture of the church. When that happens, all this stuff unfolds. It's not going to do it a day before. It's not. You're not going to see any of these things. We will disappear, and then he takes peace off of this earth, and they will destroy themselves. It's going to come. That's why I'm telling you, the rapture of the church is here. Trust the gospel. 1 Corinthians 1, before Jesus died on the cross for our sins, past, present, future, he died, was buried, rose again on the third day according to the scriptures. Trust in Jesus and Jesus alone. Confirm everything through him. And right now is the most important time, like I keep saying, in human history.
Something's wrong with it, Nick.
Tell a friend today,
Yeah.
family member, how much Jesus loves them. Because I'm telling you, they're
He's
not
here.
promised tomorrow as it is.
Rapture's coming, man, definitely.
And they might not be here. I might not be here tomorrow either. We just don't know. We're not promised that. And it's better to be with Jesus than be left here or in hell. Okay? I would rather
Yeah, to
make
suffer
people
through
mad
7 years of hell, yeah.
than let them rot away in hell. So I'd rather them be mad at me. And that's kind of the mentality that I keep, because I don't want to see anybody have to go there, not even my worst enemies. But this world's collapsing. And the more gold goes up, it's going to collapse even faster. History is repeating itself, except this time on a bigger scale. The world's at a bigger... It's not like in World War II. World War II, not everybody was dependent on each other. They are now. A lot more at stake. And it's all by design. Remember, God is the author of this. Everything he tells would happen is happening right now. It's leading up to it. That's how I know this is World War III. That's how I know where we're at, because of Israel being surrounded by all of her enemies, all of her neighbors are ganging up on her. And it's called Jacob's trouble for a reason. The signs are there. When Hamas attacked Israel on that fateful day, Pandora's box truly did open. And mankind's time started ticking down. Now, I don't know when the rapture is, but I'm telling you right now, it's here somewhere. You can see it with everything that Israel is. You can see Jacob's trouble coming right down the road. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going home. We'll be with Jesus very soon. Don't hang your head. Don't get discouraged. This is going to wrap up, and most people will not see it coming. But we're there. I love each and every one of you. If I don't hear from you again, I'll see you at home.
Then there's this one.
Ultra fire cervical.
This one says, talking about Putin signing a deal with Iran. It says Putin signs a deal with Iran. I definitely think they're working on trying to get nukes to go after Israel. I think there's no doubt we're about to go to war.
Cervical care pillow.
Now, I mean, no, I think there's no doubt we're about to go in and attack Iran. We're gonna hit Iran pretty soon. I have a feeling.
Even
It's like and all this stuff about Russia. Yeah, I think the Antichrist could come out of Russia. I don't trust Putin. I think they're gearing up for World War III or nuclear war.
orthopedic doctors are using it. Orthopedic.
I think we're out of here soon.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Share, subscribe, like this video.
Yeah, something's wrong with the network. I can't get it to work.
Lots of news coming in this morning. It is piling like I'm telling you, it's like everybody, I guess, it waited till after Easter, I guess. But this morning, news is flying off the shelves. As we know, the Pope died this morning at 88. Also, China this morning sanctioned, get this, U.S. Congress members, government officials, and heads of the NGOs. These are not tariffs, these are sanctions. Another indicator, like I said, we're in World War III. And it's begun. People just ain't got the memo yet. They're still worried about their political parties and everything else that's going on. And they don't even have a clue what's happening right over top of them. Putin ratifies a 20-year strategic partnership agreement with Iran this morning. Okay? So that's when. So once again, now they've got it all in paper that they're under that umbrella. Told you, not trust Putin. Mexico's president says Mexico did not reach a trade deal with the U.S. Then Japan comes out and says we won't just keep conceding to U.S. demands. Remember, Japan has a lot of U.S. debt, and they're starting to sell it off too. And the U.S. has been threatening them, and Japan is like basically saying we don't care. Ukraine is buying medicine from Israel in case of Russia uses a nuclear device. So keep that in the back of your mind, because we know that's where they want to go. They want to cause something like that to bring NATO in. China warns countries against aligning with the U.S. on trade restrictions this morning. In a sharply wounded statement, China has cautioned nations against trade alliances with the United States that would undermine its economic interests. So basically, they threaten these countries. The Chinese government describes such moves as selfish and short-sighted, warning of potential retaliation against countries that prioritize U.S. trade over them. You don't believe we're in World War III. We're there. This development comes amid heightened global trade tensions, which I told you put this in World War III. And with all this coming out, the Dow and everything is sinking this morning, especially with the sanctions and everything, particularly in response to proposed U.S. tariffs under the incoming administration. On April 20th, 2025, China's Ministry of Commerce issued a statement urging countries to resist U.S. pressure to curb trade with China. And I told you that happened a couple of days ago, where the U.S. came out and said, you know, they wanted to literally go against any country that would go in, that was sending gas or anything into China. And they was telling people, hey, we'll take off the tariffs if you do this. And this is China's response. Basically, it's war. I'm telling you. The ministry emphasized the appeasement does not bring peace and compromise. There's no peace coming. Signaling a firm stance against the precise and or as coercive U.S. trade tactics. The statement was direct response to reports that the U.S. has been encouraging allies, like I told you, to align with trade policies to counter China's economic influence. The Chinese government further argued that restricting trade with China to gain favor with the U.S. would harm global economic stability. Such actions disrupt the multilateral trading system and will backfire on these who purchase them and pursue them. The ministry stated, according to the Reuters report. Now, the rhetoric underscores China's intent to protect its position as the leading global exporter, particularly in critical sectors like technology, manufacturing, and raw materials, which they own it all. The warning has sparked discussions among trade analysts, with some viewing as a strategic move to deter smaller economies from aligning too closely with the U.S. policies. CNN reported that China's promise of retaliation could trigger targeted tariffs, export controls, or restrictions on access to its vast consumer market. For countries heavily reliant on trade with both the U.S. and China, this creates a balancing act. And also, like I said, World War III. That's what it is. This happened in World War II, and it's happening again, just like it did before. For instance, nations in the Southeast Asia and Europe, which maintain significant trade ties with China, may face pressure to navigate these demands. A post on X highlighted concerns that countries like Vietnam and Malaysia, which have benefited from trade diversification amid U.S. trade and China trade tensions, could be caught in crossfire. China's warning reflects broader geopolitical anxieties as the U.S. prepares for a potential shift in trade policy. Trump, who has signaled plans to aggressive tariffs on imports, including 60% on Chinese goods. That's way more than that. The Wall Street Journal noted that such measures could collapse the global supply chains, and that's what they want to do. Understand, this is what they're trying to do. They're trying to literally stop the global chain, also the money, to go to a digital system. That's what this is. It's a planned crash. We've said it before. They've said it. They told us they was going to do it. People just don't believe it. But they've told us they're going to do it. And Trump's their man to get it done. China's proactive stance aims to dissuade nations from complying with U.S. demands, preserving its economic leverage, which this time is going to backfire, we've told you. The Chinese government has also positioned itself as a defender of free trade, contracting its rhetoric with U.S. protectionism. And on its statement, the Ministry of Commerce called for the adherence to World Trade Organization rules and warned against unilateral actions that undermine global prosperity. This appeal may resonate with developing nations wary of U.S. economic dominance. This is also where you're going to see a lot of countries start to dump the U.S. This is what's coming. All right, this is something else. This has happened. We just got wind of this. Something unusual is going on once again. On Easter Sunday, a total of 8 C-17 Global Masters with the U.S. Air Force Air Mobility Command were tracked flying between Ramstein Air Base in Germany and the air base there in southern Israel. All of this which were linked with the transfer of air defense systems and originated from the Fort Bliss of Texas. Since April 10th, 25 C-17s have landed in this area in Israel, with most attached to this same air defense mission. So I'm thinking these are Patriot air defenses or the Arrow system that they're sitting in. Why are they doing that? Because they're getting ready to hit Iran. That looks like Israel is going to go in at any time. We've talked about this. And it looks like we're in that window. And I've said it's probably going to be at the end of this month. That's what I was thinking. They wanted to get the aircraft carriers and everything there just for defense. And that's what we're looking at right now. And this is a lot of talk about this. Now listen to this. China first ever joint air exercises with Egypt. Now remember, the other day, Egypt had an escalation with Israeli troops at the Rafah border. And they shot into Israel. And we're seeing Egypt start to pick sides. We told you they've been rolling in M1, A1s like crazy. They've got 1,000 of these things on the border of Israel. American-made tanks, yeah, sitting on the border of Israel right now. And this doesn't surprise us at all with everything that's going on.
Nope. I thought they were going to war anyway to begin with.
It must be Tuesday.
I kind of saw Israel going after Iran.
They shot down 20 of them. Let's see what else. I'm just going through Telegram right now and seeing everything that goes on. Let's see. Let's look at this one. This might be the Tuesday solution. Now, if you're on Telegram, make sure you have our good friends, Orange 2 Minute Morning, Keegan Fernandez, Bubba News, our great friend across the pond there in Britain, that would be Watchful Woman's Lisa, and also Watchwoman Natalie. They'll keep you updated on everything that's going on today. Boy, there's a ton going on. Alright, so the UAE this morning, this is what just came out. Cabinet approves first of its kind AL regularity ecosystem. In other words, another part of the beast system. The UAE cabinet, chaired by His Highness, now this guy's really, really wealthy. He's one of the wealthiest guys in the world. He was there in Dubai. The initiative announced on April 20th, 2025 aligns with the UAE's vision to lead in a smart governance and technological innovation. The new system aims to streamline judicial process, boost efficiency, and ensure fairness by leveraging artificial intelligence. So everybody's going to artificial intelligence. What Trump and them all do, you notice that they're all doing it at the same time? I told you, they're all in bed together. People will never believe that. They think these guys are enemies. They are not. They're all elites, and they're all on the same page. And that's why we tell you, do not, you got to get away from these political races. You got to get away because you can't see what these people are doing. They're all in on this together. China warns it will retaliate against countries aligning with the U.S. on trade. Like I said, it's just one step up. Carl Schwab officially resigns as World Economic Forum's chairman, and the guy under him is way more evil than he is. So go figure that one. Alright, we just heard about China sanctions U.S. Congress members, government officials, heads of the NGOs in for the egregious behavior on Hong Kong related issues. India to put 12% tariffs on steel to limit cheap imports from China. So it is on, people. It is on like Donkey Kong all around the world. It is happening. We're getting close to the rapture, and cinnamon rolls. It is coming. It's at the door. I think we all know at this point. It just gets worse by the day. Alright, a source close to the White House, which this is something we've already said. A non-government Israel source spoke with a senior American official who said Israel need not to be concerned about the progress in talks with Iran. According to the official, once the Americans present the full list of demands, negotiations are expected to collapse. Which we all know will, because the Bible tells us so. Ain't it good that we have God's word in these last days? We know how everything's going to play out, that's for sure. Next few weeks, it could get absolutely bonkers, and I told you that. We figured at the end of this month, things would start to go off the rails. Pressure keeps building. Soon it will pop. According to Reuters, Israel has not ruled out a full-scale and limited strike against Iran's nuclear facilities in the coming months. It's not months. It's days. However, U.S. President Trump told Israel Prime Minister Netanyahu the United States would not support or aid in such a strike during the ongoing nuclear talks with Iran. Any potential strike on Iran's nuclear facilities carries enormous geopolitical risk and could detail ongoing diplomatic efforts. Alright, let's see, preserving uranium enrichment, Iran's red line in talks, we've talked about that. Commander Jen Corella will arrive in Israel in the coming days for a high-level visit. The trip aims to ensure full U.S.-Israel alignment on the operational intelligence coordination amid escalating threats with the Iran regime. Absolutely crucial visit with Iran escalating on multiple fronts. Tight U.S.-Israel coordination is more important than ever at this moment. More stuff about the Temple Mount too. That's become the go-to thing right now around the world. Everybody's getting ready to fight over it, I'm telling you. Let's see.
Can't bring up steam. How can I bring up steam?
More stuff about the Pope. You'll see 1,000 videos about the Pope's prophecy and all that stuff. And trust me, I'm not going to even bother getting into that. You'll have 1,000 videos on it here in the next couple of days. Breaking, Lebanon declares a 3-day national mourning period from Pope. That was one horrible Pope. That man was not a good person at all. Alright. See, U.S. Philippines forces to conduct full-scale combat exercises in the South China Sea. That's what made China happy. Putting to the question, how should we feel about the fact that European officials have already threatened European leaders about coming to Moscow on Victory Day? In order to threaten, you need to have the necessary tools to carry out the threats. Ooh, I guess that was his mic drop moment. They might have civilian facilities, but Kiev regime uses them for military purposes. Vladimir Putin
Can't do anything.
Logic behind the Russian airstrikes that happened yesterday, because there was a lot of things going on Easter. There was supposed to be a truce, but once again, they don't want a truce. Peskov, there is no talk of Trump coming to Moscow for Victory Day. Stupid. Russia. The truce is over. We said that they refused to initiate to look at Kiev's behavior. Vladimir Putin spoke of Easter truce. There's no truce coming. Not with any of it. The world is going to war. It's already in World War III. People just ain't got the memo yet. We're about to exit, and they're about to find out it's here. There is so much happening today. Doesn't surprise me though where we're at. We all can see it. Every one of us. Alright, the crypt. We do not rule out that Putin will discuss the Iran nuclear issue and regional affairs during his meeting. Oman. Well, everybody's picking their sides. Exactly the way it was in World War II. More bombings on those darn Hoodie and the Blowfish.
Oh wow, Yanks blew another lead to the Guardian. Well, Yanks blew another lead. They lost to Cleveland. 6-4, never mind. I thought they won.
Evidently. Dow Jones down 844 today. Now number 6, so it's crashing. I know that's got to do with the Russian sanctions. That's what that is. More earthquakes everywhere. One in Washington, one in Wyoming, one in Montana, so the whole West Coast still moving. Keep your eyes on it.
Jose Ramirez homers on a fly ball to right field.
Would say simultaneously.
Brian Riccio scored.
Jody Frog did a great program yesterday. We go over.
Cleveland took a 3-0 lead in the bottom of the third. Kyle Manzardo homered on a fly ball to right field, making it 4-0 Cleveland. Dominguez homered in the top of the 7th. I can't bring up the highlights because the network's not working, so. Dominguez hit a 2-run home run, making it 2-6 Cleveland. Cleveland pretty much destroyed the Yankees. Eesh. Then Jazz Chisholm homered and cut it 4-6. So. And then Wells struck out. Yeah, 4-6 Cleveland. I don't know. The Guardians are pretty good in the American League Central, but I think the Tigers are going to win the Central. I wish I could watch the highlights, but yeah, I don't really care anymore.
Frog.org and watch it, and he talks about it simultaneously too. It's all there. Israel is watching a deployment with its southern neighbor enemy of Egypt. There is some very interesting development in China and Egypt have launched a first ever joint air drill called the Eagles of Civilization 2025 at the Egyptian air base. The military exercise kicked off on April 19th. They're in the run through early May. Chinese influence in the Middle East region is no longer subtitled. It's starting to show up more and more. China will help Egypt in learning on how to try to beat Israel's Air Force. What's going on right now? Even the UAE the other day posted their military videos with Chinese subtitles. Shows you where the world's moving to, people. It's moving. It is moving. Alright, so we're looking at watching pretty much every one of Israel's borders right now because they're starting to get a little full with people, enemies around them, just like Jesus told us would be in the last days. It says now Trump wants piece of Russia claimed by Kiev. U.S. intends to assert control over the Russian territory surrounding Europe's largest nuclear power as part of the mediated agreement between Kiev and Moscow, according to the Wall Street Journal. The proposal is part of the reported package option the U.S. expects Ukraine to respond by the end of this week. Last Thursday, senior members of the U.S. President Donald Trump's administration met with Ukraine and Europe officials in Paris. One of the ideas facilitating a peace agreement between Kiev and Moscow involves the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. Of course it does. As neutrality is the biggest one in Europe, by the way. Territory under the U.S. control, a newspaper reported Sunday. The former Ukraine region hosted a facility voted to join Russia in 2022, though Kiev has dismissed the referendum and it is a sham. In March, Trump claimed that Ukraine's Vladimir Zelensky has proposed the U.S. take ownership of the country's nuclear power plants. Zelensky, however, refuted this assertion, stating that he and Trump only discussed potential U.S. investments at the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. Additionally, Washington has suggested recognizing Russian sovereignty over Crimea, not opposing Russia's control over 4 other former Ukraine regions, including Zaporizhzhia, and rejecting Ukraine's bid for NATO membership. However, the list of proposals does not include any cap on the strength of the Ukraine army or ban on troop deployments by European NATO members in Ukraine. The newspaper noted that the U.S. and its European allies, the Ukraine achievement is convergence this week. The package will be presented to Moscow this week. Moscow has firmly rejected that any proposed NATO presence in Ukraine and has asserted that in the agreement a truce proposal negotiated in 2022, which includes limitations on the Ukraine military, should serve as the foundation for a future peace accord. The plan was rejected by Kiev following the intervention from Boris Johnson. Russia has accused the EU and UK of attempting to undermine Trump's mediations. I think they're all in on it, as I said. Let's see what else we talked about. That looks like it catches us up. We're at 20 minutes. I'm sure there's going to be plenty more to go over this evening. So, got all these hotbeds starting to really take place. Now China's putting sanctions on officials, and it's only a matter of time before they start putting it on different things. If they went to officials, Congress, and stuff like that, that means we're well into World War III. It is moving pretty quickly. So, watch the West Coast with all the earthquakes and everything else that's going on. Look for a 9/11 event too. That could easily happen, especially in Europe and here. It could happen either place. The reason I'm saying that, Zelensky.
I thought about it. I thought a 9/11 I thought about a 9/11 event also. I thought about something like that happen also.
Now,
or like
Zelensky in Europe
Iran bombs Diego Garcia, and that's what starts.
And all this stuff. We can do this all day long.
Iran bombs Diego Garcia, and that's what starts things.
Because Satan's moving them that way. Out of this war and everything else that's being built right now, the Antichrist will rise. That's what's coming. The rapture is first. We're going to be leaving soon, so get people on that ark before it's too late. Talk to them about Jesus today, because I'm telling you, they're not promised tomorrow. Trust in the gospel, 1 Corinthians 15, 1-4. Jesus died on the cross for our sins, past, present, future. He died, was buried, rose again on the third day, according to the scriptures. Trust in Jesus and Jesus alone. For everything through him right now, and do not take your eyes off of it. I still believe this is the most important time in human history. It's right here. I'm taking that into account by everything I see with Bible prophecy, like J.D. Frog talked about yesterday. It's happening faster than we've ever seen it happen. Usually it would spill out, then go back, so not no more. It's just full-fledged coming. At us 100 miles an hour. Them birth pains have sped up. That tells me the rapture is here somewhere. I don't know where it's at, but I'm looking up. And that's what I'm here to tell you, is that Jesus is coming for you. That's his promise. He went and built a place for you. He's coming to get you. And he's been warning everybody around the world in every language and every color that he's coming. Get ready, because he is. I love each and every one of you. If I don't see or hear from you again, I'll see you at home. Thank you once again for tuning in to Global Rapture Watchers, where we do daily updates here on YouTube, letting you know that we're one day closer to our Lord and Savior coming back. Thank you for all the support for this channel. This channel was created for God's sheep, those that are waiting for their Lord and Savior to come back and get us in these last days. We do updates once to 2 times a day here on YouTube. Thank you for all your support for the channel. God bless each and every one of you.
Can't get Steam to come back up, bro.
On April 21, 2025, Pope Francis died inside the Vatican due to ongoing health challenges. May the good Lord be close to his family members. In this short message, I'm going to make some comments based on this book, the Bible. Number 1, shortly after his death, Cardinal Kevin Farrell told the worldwide Catholic community, quote, "Dearest brothers and sisters, with deep sorrow I must announce the death of our Holy Father, Francis. At 7:35 this morning, the Bishop of Rome, Francis, returned to the Father's house." No, he didn't. In fact, according to the Bible, he didn't go anywhere. He's dead, and now he awaits the resurrection. In John chapter 5, verse 28 and 29, our Lord Jesus Christ declared,
He'll
"Do
probably
not
go to
marvel
hell.
at this, for the hour is coming in which all who are in their graves will hear his voice, and they will come forth. Those who have done good to the resurrection of life, and those who have done evil to the resurrection of condemnation." As with all of us, God himself will decide which resurrection we come up in after we die when Jesus Christ returns. Number 2, the day the Pope died, U.S. President Donald Trump ordered all American flags to be flown at half-mast. The White House also posted a document entitled "Honoring the Memory of His Holiness, Pope Francis." From a biblical perspective, no fallen man, including Pope Francis, deserves to be called His Holiness or the holiness of God. Only our sinless Savior, Jesus Christ, deserves that title. Number 3, unknown to the majority of Americans, Catholics, and Protestants, the prophecy of Revelation chapter 13, verse 12 just took another big step forward to its final fulfillment. God's holy word says, "He, the lamb-like beast representing America, causes the earth and those who dwell in it to worship the first beast," which represents the papal power, whose deadly wound was healed. By government action, the United States is now leading Americans to honor the papal power. Number 4, with the death of Pope Francis, the highly speculative theory that Pope Francis was the 8th king of Revelation chapter 17, that theory died with him. Revelation chapter 17, verse 11 says, "There are also 7 kings. 5 have fallen, 1 is, and the other one has
And
not."
then here's the 7 year. And here's the thing Bubba had to say about the thing, but I don't understand why I can't get. I wonder if you have to have a network connection to get it to come up.
Hey guys, Bubba here at the Bubba News. All in one word, all in one news. How are you guys doing tonight? This is getting too late for me to be doing these videos for you guys, but I do appreciate you popping in when I do the premiere. It's 11:23 right now here on April 21st, the day after Easter, and we've got some big news. This has been a big day prophetically, if that makes sense. Wow, what a day. Yeah, we're going to go over some news there with a 7-year truce possible coming up at the very end. We're going to talk about the rapture, how Israel 365 News, that a lot of us use to get prophetic news from, is saying that those who are going to teach on the rapture are going to be considered anti-Semitic. How interesting. A couple things. Things we'll talk about Iran, we'll talk about Israel. Goodness, there's so much going on. It's like, where do you start? Of course, we've got to talk about, let's go back over here. Here, let's keep, let's go over here. This is what I was putting together. The most explosive Monday prophetically in recent memory. The Pope dying this morning. The World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab is stepping down. The rapture becoming hate speech and anti-Semitic, and is a 7-year peace plan coming? Buckle up while looking up, because this is getting absolutely bonkers, guys. Seriously, this is nuts. Real quick update on Mrs. Bubba. She got sick this morning, so we couldn't make it to the doctor there for the sports injury with her left shoulder. So I ask for your continued prayers for that. And she got into one of these coughing bouts that lasted 2 to 3 hours of pretty much nonstop coughing. So she had to reschedule for next Monday. So, thanks guys for your prayers. And for those of you who have helped support, I was talking to a Vendog earlier today before we did our live stream this afternoon on his channel. And, you guys have been just such a blessing. Supporting us financially or through prayers. I love that. Guys, we need prayers more than ever. And there's so many people you can help pray for. Even, oh my goodness, I don't even know where to begin. But let's get right to it. The next, hey, Alan Dixon, how you doing, sweetheart? I'll talk to you in a minute. This is me in real life. But the next few weeks can get absolutely bonkers because pressure keeps building. And soon it's going to pop. Israel has still not ruled out a full-scale or even a limited strike against Iran's nuclear facilities in the next few weeks to next few months max. However, Trump has told Netanyahu that the U.S. will not support or aid Israel if they were to strike Iran during the ongoing nuclear talks with Iran. So any potential strike on Iran's nuclear facilities, it carries enormous political risk, a geopolitical risk there, and could derail the ongoing diplomatic efforts trying to get the peace deal there, or the not ceasefire, not peace deal, but the Iran nuclear thing going on. Just yesterday, and I'm going to mention this here in a minute, but the United States continues to land all kinds of weapons in there to Israel because of what is coming. But I wanted to share this too real quick before we get to today's news, because this was done back in 2016 from the Bushehr nuclear power plant. In the future, even if in the future Iran makes only uranium for their nuclear power reactors for electricity, if Trump can pull off a nuclear deal with them, these reactors pose a very high risk of major accidents with the Gulf states downwind. Like the Bushehr nuclear attack there, it's going to release 1 becquerel of cesium-137. And high levels of radioactive cesium in or near your body can cause nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, bleeding, coma, and even death. So this may occur after nuclear accidents or detonation of atomic bombs. And, the radioactive plume is going to move across southern Iran and will reach the UAE, Abu Dhabi, right there, in 11 hours. And it's going to reach Oman, right there, in 13 hours. But the way the wind patterns have happened with the weather changing and the manipulations and whatnot is it's going to go more over Saudi Arabia. So that's going to get nuts. So we'll have to keep an eye on that with everything with Iran. But this was today's verse. You know, and this right here in 1 Thessalonians 5 is so good. Verse 16, rejoice always. You know what I mean? Because the joy of the Lord is within us. Pray constantly. Give thanks in everything. For this is God's will for you in Christ Jesus. Don't stifle the Holy Spirit. Don't despise or turn away the prophecies, but test all things. This is so important today with the Pope dying. We need to test and examine everything to see the bigger picture. We have to hold on to the good. You know, Romans 12:9, abhor what is evil, but cling to what is good. And this is beginning to unravel. Prophetically, as the New World Order's new religious guru, he's going to step up to the global scene pretty soon. And, you know, stay away from every kind of evil, verse 22. But we've got to test all things, verse 21. And a lot of changes are coming up. We're going to talk about this with Klaus Schwab, with the World Economic Forum. But his poster child, who's been training underneath him for the past, I don't even know now, 5-7 years, is Yuval Noah Harari. You know, now that Klaus Schwab has announced that he's stepping down from the World Economic Forum, watch him to step up to the plate. And we're going to talk about Klaus Schwab here in a minute, but let's get back over to everything going on with the Pope, because the Pope of No Hope passed away. And there we have our boy Franklin Graham. Yeah. The Pope died, they said, this morning at 7:35 a.m. in Italy, Vatican time, and it was announced to the world at 9:45. 2 hours later. So I posed the question, why did Franklin Graham ask for prayers for the Catholic Church and the people within the Catholic Church to begin the process of selecting a new pope?
I don't understand that either, yeah.
My question is, why did Franklin Graham ask for prayers for the Catholic people to come to find and know Jesus Christ and not embrace them looking in for a new vicar of Christ? You know, because they believe that the vicar of Christ is the Pope, and he's basically Jesus' replacement on earth. You know, the Bible tells us specifically there is one mediator between God and man, the Lord Jesus Christ. Not Mary, not the vicar of Christ. I mean, this is starting to get crazy, but you know, and to see that he died at age 88, and the last person he saw yesterday, or you know what I mean, J.D. Vance, the vice president, was visiting him, and then he's passes in the middle of the night. It's just real squirrely, but you know, while that news is coming out, this news is not being talked about. Because the World Economic Forum founder and chairman Klaus Schwab resigns with immediate effect. So Klaus Schwab is resigning the same weekend the Pope dies. The Prince of Darkness, Lucifer, is making his moves behind the scenes. And I said, how convenient. Nothing screams out, move quietly, like stepping down, while the rest of the world is staring at the Vatican curtains. And this isn't just a retirement, it's a technical vanish, a changing of power. I mean, they're opening up 2 new political positions for the global New World Order beast system. Who's going to take over to be the leadership of the World Economic Forum? Who's going to take over for the Catholic Church? Because the World Economic Forum is known for its digital ID rollouts. It's known for the global reset that's coming. And they're known for treating national sovereignty like a worn-out concept. I mean, timing is everything. This comes out today, in the middle of the whole Pope is taking over the news cycle. I mean, it's, you know, if the World Economic Forum was just about economic collaboration, they would probably hold private, you know what I mean, fewer private jet meetings. And they probably have more public accountability, but it's always been about influence without election, policy without consent. And now the main World Economic Forum architect steps aside, right when no one is looking or paying attention. If that doesn't make you look twice, you're not paying attention. And we're going to show a video from I always thought it was Noah Yuval Harari, but a buddy of mine told me tonight it's Noah. No, Yuval Noah Harari. I can't keep track, but I find it interesting that that guy has 3 names. You know what I mean? Like, oh geez, you know what I mean? That's another one. But yeah, we'll get to. Actually, we'll get to Noah Harari here in a minute, but Trump is deploying multiple air defense systems to Israel ahead of a possible Iranian attack, because everything is being prepared for the coming attack on Iran, and Elam in particular. Like I said earlier, 8 C-17 heavy transport aircraft landed at the Israeli Nevatim Air Force Base yesterday. And just in 10 days, since April 10th, 25 heavy aircraft, all or most of them loaded with Patriot and THAAD missile interceptor systems, have landed at the base in preparation for a possible Iranian attack and the expected Iranian response to an Israeli and U.S. airstrike on its nuclear program. So that is still coming, and that is front and center on a lot of people's eyeballs, because this Iran thing is going to be nuts. But you know how I was talking about Yuval Harari, the top advisor to Klaus Schwab? You guys, I know a lot of you know him, but he said that COVID was critical because that is what convinces people to accept total biometric surveillance under the skin. This is still the goal. And now with Klaus Schwab stepping down, I'm watching for Noah Harari to fill in the lead position of the World Economic Forum now. I can see Noah pushing for and enforcing what's coming, the surveillance under the skin.
So far, it's corporations and governments collecting data about where we go, who we meet, what movies we watch. The next phase is the surveillance going under our skin. We now see mass surveillance systems established even in democratic countries, which previously rejected them, and we also see a change in the nature of surveillance. Previously, surveillance was mainly above the skin. Now it's going under the skin. Governments want to know not just where we go or who we meet. Above all, they want to know what is happening under our skin. What's our body temperature? What's our blood pressure? What is our medical condition? Now humans are developing even bigger powers than ever before. We are really acquiring divine powers of creation and destruction. We are really upgrading humans into gods. They are acquiring, for instance, the power to re-engineer life. Humans are now hackable animals. You know, the whole idea that humans have, they have this soul or spirit and they have free will and nobody knows what's happening inside me. So whatever I choose, whether in the election or whether in the supermarket, this is my free will, that's over. I mean, all this story about Jesus rising from the dead and being the Son of God, this is fake news.
Wow. Free will is over. All these stories about Jesus being God is fake news. This is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. We got to keep an eye on that guy. Some people was texting me earlier today and they said, I could see him being the Antichrist. I don't see him being the Antichrist candidate. I see him being a false prophet candidate. Because he's going to want to make this go through. I mean, he's the brains behind a lot of this with Bill Gates and Zuckerberg and a bunch of others. So, just something to keep an eye on. But, yeah, we'll do one more on the Pope. Then we'll show this one from Israel 365 News. But, yeah, good old boy, Pope Francis was definitely part of the club. A lot of you know what I'm talking about. With the symbol up there in the upper left-hand corner, sign of the master of the second veil. So we know what part of the club he was part of. But anyway, you know, now that Francis has passed away, Trump announced that he will attend the funeral in Rome. But just a reminder, in Rome, some of the nuclear talks between the American delegation and Iran are also taking place. So it will be very interesting to see what happens if the president of Iran attends that funeral as well. So that could get really interesting. And remember earlier how I said that there's definitely been a dark shift overnight and in the past 24 hours? Well, this is from Israel 365 News, of all things, that a lot of us have looked at for the Red Heifer news and other prophetic news. And this came out today, the day after Easter. And the article, and I'll post it down in the link below, but read it when you get a chance. It's nuts. It is full of lies. And Israel 365 News is known for producing the Israeli Bible. And the Israeli Bible is the Tanakh. It is the Hebrew Old Testament without the New Testament. But they even use New Testament verses in their quotations in this article, talking about the secret rapture in Israel. First of all, it's not a secret, but you'll have to read the article. But they're saying that this could quickly become hate speech against the Jews for talking about the rapture. Hate speech. And the White House is going to pick up on this because the article pretends that 0 Jews are a part of the blessed hope, which is totally false. Because there are Jews that have accepted the Lord Jesus Christ as their personal Lord and Savior. But Trump is starting to go hard against anti-Semitism in any form. This article, I'm just going to pull it up real quick. This is nuts. And they talk about the secret rapture. It's not a secret, blah, blah, blah. They say that 60% of all clergy in America believe and teach the secret rapture. That's not true. You're lucky to have 0.6%, maybe, or 6%. I mean, a very small.
If you need a high-performance portable generator at an unbeatable value, check out Predator Generators from Harbor Freight. Whether for outdoor recreation, the job site, or home backup, we have what you need. Predator, the power to do more for less. Only at Harbor Freight.
But the way that they're talking, this being anti-Semitism, is reflected in this teaching of the rapture, according to them. According to the rapture teaching, Jesus is coming back, they say, but the Jews are left behind. He is not coming back for them, but only for the Christians. The third temple will be used by the Antichrist in this teaching after the rapture. He will take over the third temple. Those who are teaching this idea use proof texts, talking about the day of the Lord. Well, that's what the day of the Lord is. But anyway, you guys will have to read it. But, you know, they're basically calling Jesus a liar. Well, of course they will. You know, that's 2 Peter 3 and 4, the mocking and the scoffing. But, you know, I didn't expect this to see this from Israel 365 News, of all things. But I guess you can't help those that are still blinded. You know what I mean? Romans 11:25, and you know, they could still be just dumb on purpose and willingly blinded. 2 Peter 3:5. But you know, researching Israel 365, coming to find out that it's all about written about by rabbis and whatnot, so it kind of makes sense. But so many of us Christians have used the Israel 365 News over the region. But you know, speaking of Israel, Mike Huckabee, the former governor of Arkansas, he was in Israel this past week, and even over the weekend. He met with Prime Minister Netanyahu in Jerusalem on a Friday night. Today he met with the Israeli President Isaac Herzog, which was really wild. And they played the Star Spangled Banner while he was meeting President Herzog. It was really neat. But then later today he released a video response back to the World Health Organization. A World Health Organization official called Mike Huckabee to have him put pressure on Israel to bring more humanitarian aid to the people of Gaza. Mike said, how about we put the pressure where it really belongs? On
Hello,
Hamas.
I'm Mike Huckabee, U.S. Ambassador to Israel. This past weekend, Dr. Hanan Balki, who is the regional coordinator for the WHO for the Eastern Mediterranean region, called upon me to put more pressure on Israel to bring humanitarian aid to the people of Gaza. I appreciate the message from Dr. Balki, and today what I would like to suggest is that we work together on putting the pressure where it really belongs, on Hamas, to give us the opportunity to open up those humanitarian channels. So we call upon Hamas to sign an agreement so that humanitarian aid can flow into Gaza to the people who desperately need it. When that happens and hostages are released, which is an urgent matter for all of us, then we hope that that humanitarian aid will flow and flow freely, knowing that it will be done without Hamas being able to confiscate and abuse their own people by not allowing those resources to get to the people who desperately need it.
Isn't that wild? Well, now we're going to wrap it up with this, because Hamas may be starting to want to come to an agreement. And this is part of the plan, and I've mentioned this on Twitter, I've mentioned this especially on Telegram the past couple months, and some on YouTube, but there were some articles last year that came out, and a lot of people weren't paying attention. And a big shout out to my friend Penny, who helps find a bunch of these things. But, you know, they have been talking about since May of last year, May of 2024, secretly, a 5 to 7 year peace plan, truce. Well, today, this is what I'm saying, guys. Everything happening today is just nuts. Wow. A senior Palestinian official familiar with the Israel-Hamas ceasefire negotiations going back and forth between Qatar, Egypt, Hamas, and Israel, they're proposing a new formula to end the war in Gaza. And according to the official, it envisions a truce or a peace plan lasting between 5 and 7 years between Gaza, the new state of Palestine, and Israel. This would include the release of all Israeli hostages in exchange for Palestinian prisoners held in Israeli jails to be released. Number 2, a formal end to the Gaza war. And number 3, a complete Israeli withdrawal from Gaza. This comes just days after Hamas rejected Israel's latest proposal, which included a demand for Hamas to disarm in return for a 6-week truce. Well, they said no to that. But a senior Hamas delegation is now due to arrive in Cairo for consultations. They're interested in this. Israel has not yet commented on the mediator's plan, but it's coming. A 7-year ceasefire peace plan between Israel and Gaza, Palestine. That is coming up, guys, this June. This is what all this has been working towards. And now that we're going to start seeing this more and more, I believe. A 5 to 7 year truce. They're not going to call it a peace plan off the bat. They're going to call it a 5 to 7 year ceasefire at first, or a 5 to 7 year truce. But they're not going to call it a 7-year peace plan just yet. That's coming. And there's talk that they want to do a 7-year peace plan truce, ceasefire, to be signed June 2nd through the 4th at the United Nations with the big Palestine conference. But then it could go on again for another 4 days, June 17th through the 20th, for a total of 7 days, with more meetings coming up in September, October that could strengthen or confirm a 7-year truce or peace plan. This is all coming up this year, guys. This is what I'm saying. This is so exciting. This has literally been the most explosive Monday prophetically in recent memory. You know, the Pope dying, the World Economic Forum Klaus Schwab story, the rapture becoming hate speech and anti-Semitic, a 5 to 7 year truce or peace plan coming. I mean, buckle up while looking up, because this is the entire prophecy community right now. once they realize what's going on all around them, like, what? They're literally talking about a 7-year truce, a 7-year peace plan. That is absolutely coming, and that is just nuts. Because this 7-year truce, guys, is coming. But first, I believe there's some wars that have to kick off.
So you found an awesome job post, but your resume's outdated? No worries. With Adobe Acrobat Pro, super easy edit.
The point being is, this is in the initial stages, but this is starting to pick up steam. And this is already placing it into people's mindsets from reading the Jerusalem Post article today on a 5 to 7 year truce, or from the BBC article. So this is already starting to plug it into the psyche of humanity of a 7-year peace plan. Lining exactly right up with Daniel 9:27, Isaiah 28:15, where they make here, let's just look that up. I mean, that is a great verse too, right there. Isaiah 28:15. Because you have said we have made a covenant with death, a 7-year contract, a 7-year covenant, a 7-year truce, peace plan, and with Sheol we have made a pact. The overwhelming scourge will not reach us when it passes by, for we have made falsehood our refuge, and we have concealed ourselves with deception. This 7-year plan, Israel thinks they're going to be doing something very good, and they're going to have someone arrive on scene known to us as the Antichrist. There's 33 titles of the Antichrist in the Old Testament, and at least 13 in the New. That'd be a great thing to pull up sometime. I've put it up on Telegram before and stuff, but it's really interesting, guys, because this stuff is really starting to ramp up now. And we're going to start hearing about this more and more and more. This is just crazy town to me, because it is literally all coming together. Alright, guys, thanks for watching. Trying to keep this short tonight. Maranatha, guys, I just ask for your prayers. Thank you so much for watching. You guys are awesome. I'll probably be on there with Gary McKibben there at PR Gary McKibben Victory. His channel tomorrow afternoon, I believe, at, let me look. I think it's at 2 p.m. Eastern time, so I'll post that link down in the links below as well. But he's a great guy for the Lord Jesus Christ over there in Ireland. So come hang out and join us in chat and fellowship. You know, forsake not the assembling of yourselves together, as the manner of some is, but encourage one another. And so much the more as you see the day approaching. And guys, we are seeing that day approaching. It's so exciting, guys. Buckle up while looking up. And I'll bid adieu, and we'll get this loaded up and premiere it. And thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you soon. Mary.
Alright, I'm going to restart this. I can't get Steam to work. And if it doesn't work this time, I think I'm going to go to bed. So we can play Monopoly, maybe while we're there. We can play on the Switch. I'm gonna take it with me. Just in case.